as I do the connection between us.
Welcome on in, all you pretty little pebbles. How are y'all doing today? Let me make sure capture is going to... well... capture. There we go. So welcome on in, Red and Vivi and Zorbeltis. I see you three. So how are you all doing in your current time zones? You had a nice time at physio. Nice. Find the Bastard's Wound Farm Chronicle. Search the farm with Lantry present. Well, Lantry is present, so we can go search the farm. You sleepy, but you also remember, but you're also reading the story the Athenians from. I mean, there's many stories. There's the eponymous Human Domestication Guide, of which the more complete version is found on Read Only Minds and not Archive of Our Own. But there's many other stories that feature them. Abscission, or Abscission, whichever you want to call it, is another story that establishes way more lore than the eponymous HDG establishes. Just the base one in AO3. Yeah, that one's been refined, but was not completed in its refinement. So we have access to everything, yeah. You need something? No, I was going to talk to... Can I merchant now? No.
Shh.
The scout's in neat clothes. But okay. Well, let's head back to the farm area, then maybe Lantry will find the thing he's supposed to find. Hey, Lisa. And Trashley, welcome on in. Are you done with Mass Effect? Are you done affecting Mass? Let's see. Lantry, you're supposed to find something around here. Is you not? Is you ain't?
Can't do that.
Alright, well, we definitely went over this spot. First Chronicles hidden in the farm area. Search the farm with Lantry present to find it. This is the place, right? Bastard's Wound Farm, yeah. It's supposed to be around here somewhere.
Sorry, I can't.
Lantry, help me. Something seemed off about the pigs. Oh, I see a shiny sparkly over here. Ah. Ah, the old concealed text in a pile of big shit trick. Classic. As Lantry approaches the corner of the pen, a pile of hay and animal droppings vanishes, replaced by a stash of scrolls. Now here's a subject close to my heart. Histories of the School of Ink and Quill. Who doesn't love a little autochronicle? Roll calls, minutes, graduation announcements, publication dates, and letters. Oh my. I doubt Sages Corin and Ostrich had any idea their correspondences would be immortalized for the records. Not the most exciting bit of history, but I can see why Mel and Lexine would want the words of colleagues close at hand. Any worthwhile spell text? It's just a pile of sage blather. Well, if that's your exclusive disjunction, sage blather. Do these notes include the parts where you conspire to steal our magic? That seems more like sage pillow talk than something they'd write down. Thank you. We had to assume the Tidecasters might have spies. Come on now, we're running a bastion of magical hegemony, not some cult of sailors past their primes with magic and hand paints. Please don't die of old age before I have the chance to make you suffer. I know, it's all so worthless in hindsight, but it is a record of our school, whatever that's worth. I can obsess about these later. We have other things to do, right? We can pause. I'll look around while you read. How can I say no to that order? Several minutes pass as Lantry pores over the pages. Strange, all these names of dead people. Good riddance to some, others our loss. Kairos' loss. Anything seem incorrect? The Sage Ostrich's grammar is appalling. But no, not really. Sorry, no spells or great recipes for grappa. Just lectures, letters, and other sentimental detritus. I'll peruse the volume myself. In this regard, Lantry was correct. Countless sheafs of parchment, all of its social correspondences and academic text of plodding, boring detail. Look for writing out of place. You spot a page inked with a conspicuously glossy sheen, suggesting ink far fresher than the original writing. A minuscule crease along the binding hints at where this page was inserted, likely via magical means, to blend almost seamlessly. The text describes a debate between the sages, discussing the riddle of rings, and one sage, with the familiar name of Lantry, is arguing the riddle of rings posits that Kairos has already conquered the Tears. Having spent a year with the Forgebound as governor of Lethian's Crossing, you've been subjected to countless hours of banter from the artisan magi, and know the riddle as a sort of proverb the elder Forgebound teach to their apprentices. Which melts first is the riddle of the rings. Novices often assume that the common copper ring melts in a hot flame, the bronze ring in a hotter flame, and the lucrative iron ring melts in the hottest flame of all. But a trained Forgebound knows otherwise. The riddle is generally mentioned when the young apprentices ask too many questions about why others outside the guild seem, to the Forgebound at least, utterly incapable of appraising and respecting good craftsmanship. For if the sages speak the language of Kairos, Lantry has reasoned, and use the currency of Kairos, then military conquest is an extraneous formality. Odd. I learned the riddle of rings differently. Bronze first, iron last. Oh, so you know the original? No disrespect to the Forgebound. It's a great teaching tool. I just borrowed the term for rhetorical effect that day. It was 425, and Sage Cavil was giving a lecture series, having recently returned from his expedition to observe the Forgebound and their ways. At one point, he discussed their teaching methods, so the riddle of rings came up as part of his lecture. At the time, I joked that the real riddle of rings is, aren't we already conquered? And I'll launch into a not entirely sober diatribe about Kairos' inevitable invasion and dominion. According to this, I gave a stirring speech met with applause. Hardly. I was hit in the head with an old scroll case and told to sit down, shut up, and let the scholars talk. Maybe your interpretation of the riddle was the one worth remembering. Even so, this is not how it happened. You could correct the record. I could, and I will. I'll make a note to return to this. Until I know why this was edited as such, I'd just assume not tamper further. I think my nostalgia has been overtaxed for the time being. Let's get moving. I need to think on this a bit. I gotta find the remaining chronicles. Once you've gained access to the lower sections of the Bastard's Wound Old Walls, continue your search. Okay. So there's nothing else down here in the farm. And we'll gain access to the lower areas soon enough. Not imagine. Left tools and Lethian's Crossing. Last Fortress of Sentinel Stand. Crocus at Hunter's Spite. And then need to speak with Barrack, so I need to go back to a tower. And then the Ocean Spire and Blade Grave. Okay. Oh, there's a merchant over there. Sabaton. Iron Javelin. If you're wall smart, shop Walsmart. That's what I always say. Also, this is Walsmart. Welcome. We found Walsmart. I'm working on Cry's Drive Custom. What did you think? I'd start over from scratch. Well, I suppose you're the judge. I really thought I was onto something. I stock the staple foods and potions you expect from an Azure merchant at a haven value, all in the comfort of the old walls. Let's see what you got. Imperator's Old Walls Regalia.
I knew you would come.
Scandalous.
You must feel as I do the
affliction
connection
duration,
between us.
but immunity to sundered. Not too much of anything else. But we do have a good number of things to sell in any case. Sell this cheese, sell this fish, sell this water. We'll keep the pain essence. The meat's probably fine. I'll sell the fruit. We do not use these potions at all. I should probably assign those. I should probably divvy out the potions and put them in their pockets. So we can actually, like, use them in combat. Okay. I could buy this, really cool piece of head armor. It is light armor. It is helmet's just the head. How does it compare to that? Oh, it's not head armor, it's body armor. +3 to all magic skills. What about you? You're just wearing Sage's robes, huh? You can't wear armor, so we'll do that. You good to me? Let's check out this room. Would be in here. Just some lootable containers. We really don't camp. Why would I waste time in camp? And I could just keep walking. Well, that was quick work. Oh, whoa.
Humans are wise to follow while beasts lead the hunt. Very wise.
Welcome to our little refuge, Fatebinder. You are here to help us keep the wound clear of bane. Insipid Moniker picks at a splotch of dried blood on her greaves. She wears the patchwork armor of a Scarlet Fury. Are the bane constantly showing up like that? Welcome to our headache. The way the bane come and go, you'd think the teleporters are beaded curtains. Lucky for us, the beasts seem to love killing bane. They'll put in more hours on sentry duty than any human, and I welcome the extra sleep. What's through the portal? That goes deeper into the untamed old walls. We sent patrols out to sharpen the beast's claws and lighten the numbers of bane, but we haven't exactly mapped it. How'd you get that name?
Angel
Figured it
Ardeal
was
has
smarter
become
to ask the
addicted to the
voices for a name rather
biorhythms.
than let my gang boss do it. I figured wrong. Angel Arterial, thanks for the follow. What do you do here exactly? Whatever Wagstaff wants. I guess you can call me an apprentice. I can read, which is more than most can say. He's teaching you our ways? I'm sorry you have a fool for a teacher, but you have been given a great honor. Do not squander it. It's more subtle than the red work of the chorus, but I don't mind a change of pace. So the blue is to honor Wagstaff? Exactly. Fucker iced half my gang with his spells, now I fight for him. Those are the rules. In a twisted way, I think the voices would approve. Not that his approval is any safer than this wrath. Alright, now we're going now. Up and cutscening it. She faded away. She completely disappeared.
Hi.
Oh, that's a lootable container. Oh, there she went.
I see the Tidecaster has made himself at home in these flooded halls.
A bearded, weathered figure stands by the pool's edge, eyes closed in concentration. His face, uncharitably weathered from years of sun and wind, is a collection of deep, intertwining creases wreathed by a brittle-looking gray mane. One disapproving eye snaps open as you approach. Of all the shriveled barnacles to find, you? By Kairos' swollen tit! You? What of Camberil? Hagravar? Don't tell me you're all that's left. They fought a good fight, but fell to Cairn at the well. What's your excuse? How did you slither your way here? They're dead? So the militants have fallen and you're all that's left? Fuck us all, Kairos really has won. And I didn't slither. It was more of a surreptitious crawl. Speaking of lowly vermin, what are you doing with this lowlife? This one? She's with Kairos. It's sort of a long story. More importantly, what are you doing here? Not sure if my emphasis is on you or here. You think you and those salty old queens you adored were the only casters unwilling to flee? You fools were just dumb enough to wave your arms until the Archons noticed you. Some of us, well, okay, one of us, still knows the ancient art of subtlety. Ah, yes, and what's more subtle than... What is it you doing here? Restarting civilization in the old walls? Did you travel the tiers looking for folks who wanted to commit suicide by Bane, but needed a group setting for that extra push to get it done? Hardly. I came here to be left alone, but I'm just so damn charming and attractive. Society found me and I didn't kick it out of bed. Don't belittle what we're doing down here. I don't visit you in your brothel, slap the dick out of your mouth and tell you how to be you. Damn. Just slap the dick out of someone's mouth. Do you need me to give you two a moment? A moment? Hardly. I can't think of the last time Wagstaff has kept up his banter for more than a minute or two. Ever since you aged into that face of a worn tangerine, we've all had problems keeping things up around you. Speaking of improbable feats of tumescence, is that little apex boy of yours still ramming your stern on the regular? Damn. Also, thanks for the stretch, Red. This guy's, he's spitting some nice bars for his diss track of Ebb, ain't he? I'm just gonna keep remaining silent. Aldenos died of his wounds from the Battle of the Gates of Judgment. How about you? I can only assume half the reason you're here is to find some new apprentices and fuck them. That's what I do. Well, yes and no. Yes with the apprentices, but I don't know. I just might stay here. We've stumbled upon something unusual here. Not sure how permanent a solution living here might be, but been trying to make the most of it. But your friend here changes things. We always knew outsiders would come, but short of Graven Ash showing up, a Fate Binder is about as terrifying a notion as we've imagined. I hear you've already spoken with our other advocate, Jaspos, regarding the legality of this place. I wish you had spoken with me first, but if Jaspos convinced you to show us mercy, then perhaps I owe him a day without denigrating comments. Half a day, maybe. Thank you, Fate Binder. I knew the day would come that we'd be discovered, and I imagine a much bloodier scenario. In this regard, I'm happy to be made a fool. Life here in the wound isn't easy. We always assume outsiders
Player
would bring
128
death,
hug.
not help.
MG's Aqua has volunteered for domestication. How cute. They think it's only for 35 months.
You must feel as I
Aqua.
do the connection between
A
us.
month off of 3 years. Welcome on in. Thanks for coming. And for the water. Also, hey Lily. Always assumed outsiders bring death, not help. Your leniency is the sort of surprise we needed in these difficult times. And though I never would have guessed this, your arrival may be the sign of good things to come. Let's see. These people here seem guilty of little more than trying to survive. I'm happy to be of service. If I may take you literally for a second, let's say I was in need of someone who can come and go from this refuge and handle some matters for me. Would you be willing? It's hard for me to leave things unattended, and if I were to perish... Depends what you have in mind. There's an old rival of mine still out there, a sage named Phoebe. He twists the rope on the end of his belt, grimacing. Yes, we're from rival schools. No, this wasn't a case of an unsettled score. I'd live and let live, but she poses an actual threat to the wound. She had knowledge of my plans to journey north to trace Cairn's path in these mountains, which may expose us. She could bring a slew of homeless sages here, probably followed by a gaggle of spies. It's not worth the risk. She needs to die. The problem is finding her. We had a mutual contact, Melita, who used to spend this time of year in Lethian's Crossing. If the two are still in touch, she'll be able to point you in the right direction. All of Bastard's wound would be in your debt, most of all me. Can I trust in your help? Is this sage really such a threat? She's a risk to everyone living here. The woman hates me. Having dealings with her in the past was a mistake, and I'll be damned if I let that error ruin all that we've built here. Now that our school is in ruins, she'll view my accomplishments here as research to be appropriated. And while she's at it, she'll engineer a catastrophe for the wound just to spite me. So yes, Fatebinder, I'm sure. How do you know her? Over a decade ago, the School of Tides and the School of Ink and Quill tried, yet again, to discuss peace. She represented her school. I was forced to represent our end of this fruitless mediation. It was all a farce to get to know a few of us, figure out who should be spied upon. Several span later, some of my work was discovered by the sages. Fucking word thieves, every last one of them. Alright, I'll find her. Alright, Aqua, have a good sleep. Thanks for the lurk. Thank you. This matter has haunted me for quite a while. If my stupidity caused the wound to be uncovered, best not to think of it. You have been unlike other servants of Kairos I've encountered. We are indebted to your patience and reason. One more thing, Fatebinder. If you do kill her, be sure to gather her belongings. Very important. That's the only way I can verify you found the right sage. It would also mean a great deal to see my old scrolls back. On the off chance she still carries them. It is a petty and vain request, but if you've been robbed before, you probably know the feeling. Well, what else do you want of me? Well, what should I know about Jaspos? Ugh, if only that rock pounder would just shut up. He loves the sound of his own voice. Unfortunately, his forge is on the upper level, so his soliloquies flow down here to ensure my misery. This place has better acoustics than the Academy of Tides. Lucky me. He thinks because he can cleanse the water, not as well as I do, mind you, that he can pontificate at all hours of the day. I nearly drowned myself once rather than listen to one of his tirades, you know, but I knew the moment my body was discovered, he'd be raining another righteous speech about cowardice down upon my corpse. That wouldn't do. Look, I'll say it plain. Jaspos has a big mouth, and he talks incessantly about transforming Bastard's wound into something great. But the truth is that he's just out for himself. I built this place from nothing, and he thinks he can come in and claim it when the hard work has already been done? Not on my watch. What about the beast woman here that once held sway? Ah, Reef Talon. Curious case, that one. She pawed her way into these caves a year ago with her cubs. A vicious fighter, for certain. Bane of the Bane, I'd like to say. She took charge of the tribe, but had a curious way about her. The most fascinating beast I'd ever met. Oddly pensive, strangely polite, prone to bathing. Speaks nonsense. Cowed and submissive by sound of it. This reef talent sounds like mewling bulwark, not proper alpha. Things really got unusual when, after a bloody dust-up with a bane, Reef Talon healed some other members of the patrol with her touch. I can't say healed with a straight face. Those rather wounds tended by Reef Talon felt spectacular for a few days, but by week's end, a whole host of new maladies overtook them. What sort of problems? It started subtle, really. Folks treated by Reef Talon just slept a little less each night. At first, claiming they felt too hale and hearty to sit in bed. Later, they'd be exhausted from days spent waking, yet unable to sleep. And after days of being sleepless, other things would start to go. Tempers, memories, worst of all, a few who could work sigils lost the talent. Imagine spending an afternoon listening to Jaspos droning on about the virtues of pulverizing stone. You'd be frustrated and exhausted, somewhat murderous in intent, but for some reason you can't sleep. Night turns the day, which turns the night. We took to calling those affected the sleepless, and warned others of what became from those cured by Reef Talon. So what happened to Reef Talon? A few span back, a patrol of disfavored were in the mountains, searching areas struck by Cairn's magic, so they said. Well, they stumbled on our refuge, and being disfavored, were shocked and appalled, not just by our squatting in the old walls, but by the beastmen living with us. A few even deferred to Reef Talon during the parley, and seeing humans look to a beast woman was rather appalling to those iron thugs. The meeting quickly turned violent. We bested the disfavored, but Reef Talon fled during the altercation. I guess a combination of guilt from warping her fellows with magic, and the feeling of shame that her presence aroused the disfavored to attack us. I have no proof, but I think Reef Talon fled to save us from her. There is plenty of folks who hate her, but I, for one, don't think her actions were ever malicious. Protecting this place is all she cares about, and she probably realized she had to go to save us all. Regardless of her specific motivation, I'm certain she fled deeper into the old walls, not topside. Someone claims she dove into the water, another claims she accessed the teleporter. Either way, she hasn't been into the village since the disfavored arrival. If anyone can survive the depths of the old walls alone, it's Reef Talon. That said, she's been gone a while now. I'm not sure I'd wager money on her survival to date. What about the other sleepless? When Reef Talon fled, almost all of the sleepless went with her. Whether they were chased her out of anger or fear of being deserted, I don't know. You might find a few here in the refuge, but most of them have taken their chances into the depths of the old walls. Isley, a woman whose life was already marred by the tragedy of wedlock to Jaspos, was the last person healed by Reef Talon. She's still cogent. Who knows how long that'll last, poor woman. The sleepless grow more detached from reason with each day spent waking. I half imagine most went into the old walls to find death at the talons of the Bane. If I lost the ability to rest, if my magic was taken from me, I'd probably do the same. That's all I need to know. I think. Oh.
Zorbeltis? Aren't you just a silly little leaf? You didn't get enough of me yesterday, talking directly to you? You had to go and redeem this little silly leaf redeem today, hmm?
Hope that's all you wanted, and more. Alright, we loop back to the beginning. Melita Lithian's Crossing. Forge Battle Lithian's Crossing. We get access to the lower sections of the wounds. Investigate Sentinel Stand Keep. We need to get to Hunter's Respite. And we need to speak with Barrack.
Sorry,
Okay.
I can't.
Sounds like there's nothing more we can really do in the settlement here. Yeah, we can't go to the lower levels yet. Two days, 4 hours, 15 minutes. Everything's 2 days, 4 hours, and 15 minutes. 1 day, 22 hours to get to Iron Hall Trail. Deserters March. Burning Library entrance. Sentinel stand. Where was Hunter's Spite? Oh, there it is. We can't get there at the moment. Interesting. Ah, because I need verse in the party. Fair enough. Whee! It's faster for us to go back to the mountain spire than teleport on over. As you walk along the bank of the small streams, you hear splashing coming from the reedy shallows. You recognize it as the sound of the rushfish. While no delicacy, the flesh of the rushfish is a common staple in Tiersman cuisine. You look down into the water and see 3 of the whiskered creatures, fat and oblivious. Kills in shadow. Fetch. The Shadow Hunter regards your request with a cocked head and twitching ear. Am not Mantaborn. Am not named Gills in shallows. Do not swim splash for food. She turns from you with a snort. Okay. And I'll catch them with a lure. While no fisherman, you know a thing or two about rushfish feeding habits from your studies of the natural world. You thread and tie off a needle before bending it into a rough hook, then push it through the fatty thorax of a carab beetle. You wait by the shore, spying out a likely target, then lower the carab beetle into the water. Surely enough, the fish swallows the insect whole. With a sharp yank, you set the hook, and then pull the heavy catch from the water. The rushfish are fat and heavy. Their weight reassures you they'll provide a meal, maybe 2. Also, thanks for the water, Zabeltis. Alright, I need to speak with Barrick. Barrick, buddy. Got words with you, but then I have a missive to check. Well, the slightest nod of Barrick's domed helm offers any indication that the soldier noticed your approach. It shouldn't surprise you that Archon Tunon would not unmake what was wrought by the Overlord's wrath. Surprise? No. Disappoint? Yes. The Archon's decision changes nothing. I have persevered to this point. I shall continue to do so, for the sake of General Ash in the north. There may be another way. Your master was very specific in his sentence. He forbade not only assistance from the Forgebound, but from anyone, anywhere in the world. If your honor demands you remain in the armor, and the armor you will remain, it does. Thank you for understanding. He bows his head to you and moves away, trailing behind him the wafting reek of a fetid privy. He shit himself.
My Lord Binder, you have something which requires my attention? What can I do for you?
Enlist the aid of Forgebound, not subject to Kairos' law. Well, I think we have one, don't we? Alright, miss of time. So from Fatebinder Muthus, but I have favorite one with Tunon, so it changes the... Based on what you've told me, it seems a stretch to believe these events are mere coincidence or circumstance. Kairos' Edict of Execution was a setup for someone to claim Ascension Hall. To think that Kairos did not know what would happen is a massive underestimation of the Overlord's long view. You have been thrust into the arena of the mighty. Your options are retreat into obscurity, suicide, or rising to the occasion. I suggest a third option. If I were you, I would use my connection to the spires to see if they will all awaken to my presence. Every tearsman sees the spires in the horizon. If they know you are the master of the spires, they will see you each time they look to the sunrise or the sunset. Foster a reputation for power. Make others fear you. This is what I've seen Kairos and every living Archon do for as long as I've lived, and there's reasons for this. There's a practical case that power and reputation insulate you from threats. There's a lesser-known element that I can't prove, but I know in my heart to be true. The fear and love of others will strengthen your magic. The last part I've inferred from my discussions with Bled and Mark. In the few times he has spoken of his gruesome work of slaying those who might rise to threaten the Overlord, he has hinted that it's easier to kill the rogue elements before they become famed and fearsome. In my lifetime, I saw Graven Ash change from an unknown militiaman to a fearsome general. I can assure you, he did not have the power to shield his warriors in those days when he was without title or reputation. The Archons will never, ever discuss the origin of their power, because such knowledge might be used against them, but I have known all the Archons to be obsessed with the presentation of power. Your connection to the spires will all but guarantee the Archons will want to control and destroy you. It's a question of when, not if. Start thinking, acting like an Archon. As far as I'm concerned, you are an Archon. The Archon of the Spires. We are quick to place labels on powers we easily spot, and history is replete with Archons of fire and ice. It is foolish to think there must be a word for a thing before an Archon can control it. Other way around. The Archons show us what is possible, and we must step to their dance. I'll inquire about Bled and Mark. You made mention of Bled and Mark and his killings. During my training, Fatebinder Callio hinted that much of Bled and Mark's work involves killing off threats before they blossom to genuine problems. So it's curious to hear you second that fact. So, let's say for the sake of argument, I am some Archon. Is it just a matter of time until Bled and Mark is sent to kill me? Should I be making grand displays of loyalty to the court to assuage his suspicions? Need to get Verse and Barrack to like you again in your playthrough? They did not like your choices in Vintry as well. Understandable. Alright, pop down to Lethian's Crossing. We have at least 2 quests to do here. I should also equip potions. Let's see. Potions. I have 45 lesser healing potions. Let's give 10 to each. I keep looking at this thinking it's bacon, not a spine. Aha! Ebb's in her best clothes now. Nothing! Alright, need to find Melita. And the Forge Bound on Lithian's Crossing. Yeah. So I'll just take a long walk around and hope I can find... Oh, there she is. A slender woman picks through produce in a carried sack. Her hands appear focused on finding a particular piece of fruit, but her eyes are intent on the other shoppers in the marketplace below. A man passes by her, accidentally dropping a pouch as he goes. She bends down to retrieve it and hands it back to him. Careful, you almost lost this. He takes the pouch with a blushing smile and promptly walks away, clutching the pouch close to his side. The woman spots her approach as the man walks away. Greetings. How may I be of service? Clever. I almost didn't see you palm those rings into that pouch. Almost. I didn't realize I had an audience. Must be a sign I'm slowing down after all these years. Don't worry, nothing underhanded. I'm just trying to repay a debt on the quiet. Certainly someone such as yourself understands the need for discretion. I'm not interested in causing any troubles, but I do need you to answer some questions of mine. Oh, this? Her hands briefly vanish within the folds of her skirt, only to reappear with the pouch in question. Scraps of parchment, meant to deliver this to the court after acquiring it from a traveling sage. It may be magical in nature, or contain knowledge forbidden by Kairos. Please, take it. I'm only happy to do my part. Is there anything else I can do for you? I didn't, actually mention anything. I need you to answer some questions of mine. Oh, this hands me something. Just what are you here to peddle? I used to specialize in written things, but the schools are gone, and so are most of my clients. And these days, I mostly deal in wineskins, shoes, and lamp oil. Nothing glamorous, but what else do people need during times such as these? You must be Melita. Yes, that's me, but while I'm in town, Xantha will suffice. In my line of work, discretion is lesson number one. Although it seems someone else failed in their discretion, else you wouldn't be here. I need to find Phoebe. Well, the fact that I know her, that's free. Current information costs extra, and information on friends costs extra. So this isn't the kind of question I'm comfortable answering. Offer 10,000 rings. Friendships with iron. Offer 800. I've got a belt of bronze here to make you more comfortable. Or Lithian's Crossing. Favor 3. I can be trusted. Ask around town if you don't believe me. I can't buy grain with noble sentiments, but if a fate binder's asking, I can find an enemy to be forthcoming. I chose allegiance to no army, but you let an army swear fealty to you? Ah. I probably should have done that, to be honest, but I like this current path I'm taking. Phoebe sends me the occasional missive. Last I heard from her, she's doubled back toward the burning library. She's got herself the dangerous notion that she can recover scripts from her old home, though I think she's avoiding the actual library, seeing it's the epicenter of the devastation. She mentioned a place called Phlogiston. Think she means the village that used to be called Babbling Springs before the war, out in the contested lands. And that's as much as I know about where to find her. If you can't find her there, maybe she's taking her chances at the library itself. That's all I need to know for now. I thought it best to not mention Wagstaff. You know, discretion and all that. Alright, then we need to talk to the Forge Bound over here. First... exquisite iron javelin. And nothing else that I care about. A sigil of fire, which we already know.
Can't do that.
Alright, so let's just, You have returned! Lahara turns to face you, her body covered head to toe in charred hues, chest rising and falling into the strain of labored breathing. There is always more demand for iron than there is time in the day. How may I be of assistance? I'm looking for some napping tools on behalf of Jaspos. Jaspos? None of us have heard from him in some time. He certainly did his part to create the forge here, but there's little else for a napper to do after setting the foundation. I'm quite certain he was ordered to return home. This, on the other hand, is the vanguard of our work. My tour of duty ends only when there are no more enemies for iron to kill. So where did Jaspos end up? A remote settlement in mountains bordering the north. Claims to be one of its founders. Living in a sort of private fiefdom in the old walls, cavorting with beasts and tearsmen. Nursing a leg injury in the village south of the Gates of Judgment. He's dead. He asked this task of me before passing, and I'm bound by duty and honor to handle things. I'd prefer not to say. That's your right, Fatebinder. Jaspos is not under my supervision, so I ask only out of curiosity. We're just here to meet the quotas, anyway. Still, it's good to know that he's alive. What did you know of Jaspos? Only the superficial, sadly. He worked in stone, and I'm more keen on metal, so we rarely compared notes. I knew he was arrogant, confident beyond his years and talent. Not to say he was inept, far from it, but a few years of flaking church does not make one Kairos' gift to the forge bound. Does Jaspos have any associates still around? Once this plate was built, most of the nappers were sent home. I know his supervisor was Cassandra, master of napping. She was sent home as well. She's a bit on in years, not quite fit for the long walk back, so I think she's currently enjoying a boat ride home. Did the stone nappers leave behind any of their tools? I have no idea what inventory the stone smiths kept with them. All of our stone workers left some time ago. A few of them meant to return north by ocean travel, which meant first traveling to the southern coastline. I'd imagine they were probably gone by now, but if you need those tools, I can't imagine they have room on the galley to take all their sledgehammers. If I were you, I'd ask around for Cassandra, or, since she's likely on a boat home right now, see if some local was drafted to attend to her or haul her stuff. Maybe they inherited some of her excess belongings she couldn't take on the boat. Aside from that, I suppose in the abstract, I could have someone cast a few chisels and hammers, but if you're looking for tools made by and for the stone experts, I think South Haven is your best bet, short of slogging it back to Fort Resolution. Thank you. Well, that answers that. Well, we need to find Phoebe, and we need to travel to South Haven. And nothing else going to be here. And back to fast mode. Since there's only one entry exit point on this map. Okay. So now we can go to South Haven, which is near the Forgebound supply cache. Well, that would have saved us a little bit of time. We can also go to Phlogiston, which would be a good thing if we then wanted to head to Sentinel Stand and start dealing with things down here. Yeah, let's head to South Haven. opportunity to find Cassandra, or else I would miss it. My dear Fatefinder, it's a poorly kept secret that Bled and Mark's job is more about killing threats before they become a problem. Official executions are really the minority of his duties. As I understand it, Kairos has long used Bled and Mark as a preventative measure. Since he can move about the world rather freely, and he can evade all but the most absurd powers, he's the perfect predator to send against wild talents. I'm sure few in the tiers have ever actively wondered why there have been seemingly so few Archons born this far west. I'm sure folks with the potential to be Archons have occurred in the tiers time and time again, but they're usually cut down by Mark before the world hears of them. It's likely safe to assume Blooded Mark has his eye on you, and his orders to use his own judgment as to when to strike. I've known the old man for ages, and I'd strongly encourage you not to try to appeal to him with overt displays of loyalty. He has no stomach for sycophants. I sincerely believe he thinks every human being is a selfish, twisted knave, and there are those who are lying about it, and those that accept what they are. No third type exists. So yes, I do think Blood and Mark will one day have to come for you. As I said, you could always hide or end your life now, but where you're headed, conflict is likely inevitable. I appreciate the insight, and am honored by your vote of confidence. You must have made mention of Graven Ash, and how you've known of him since before he wore the title Archon of War. Can you tell me more about what you observed of his rise to power? If I am indeed an Archon, it's safe to say I wasn't born knowing what I can or can't do, and it stands to reason I might learn something from the stories of the other Archons. Augustin is a peculiar name. It is indeed. A middle-aged man nods to you, clutching a small apple crate in one arm. A well-worn scrap of parchment pokes out of his balled fist, charcoal tally marks visible on its exposed surface. Well met, traveler. Sorry, I was counting these out for Hermod and didn't see you coming. Welcome to Southaven. You look just like the portrait. I mean, it's a flattering likeness, though you look more regal in person. I mean, Governor Clare. It is an honor to meet a Fatebinder of your stature. Oh, sorry. Is there anything I can do for you? I'm not familiar with Southaven. Tell me about it. I'm not sure what's really all that worthy of note. We've got the river and the sea nearby, and live by what they bring us on the good seasons. Trade for what we don't have when our luck dries up. If you're bored already, good. I think Kairos' forces were bored too and seemed to ignore us. Some recruiters from the Karas came in years past and rounded up some folks who were out in the fields. I think they took Toled's boy, and also the Corba twins, but that was the worst of it. I've heard plenty of stories from elsewhere in the tiers. 3 folks gone, while a tragedy, is nothing compared to the suffering I've seen elsewhere. We are fortunate, no denying that. How did this village end up staffed by Forgebound? Oh, their arrival was the biggest change we've experienced in a long time. It's been maybe 2 years? This guarded entourage came to town, and we all thought we were being invaded, but nope. Just a bunch of craftsmen booking passage out of the port south of here. When they arrived, they were all ill with fever and needed to rest. Since old Leon's knocked off, we let the Forgebound use our house. We'd all assume it had been temporary, but either the ship they meant to board sank, or they had a change of plans. A span later, the Forgebound were still here and making themselves at home. It didn't hurt that the villagers here were fascinated by their crafting magics. The youngsters in the village all lined up for lessons, and, Kairos be praised, they saw fit to tutor some of them. They've been awful helpful. Spears and arrowheads for our hunters, plows for the fields, fish hooks for the rivers, even a hearth or two for those cold nights. They also all keep us safe and stand watch over the town. If I were younger, I'd ask them to train me. You can find the Forgebound just on the roof of the building behind me. Cassandra keeps her apprentices working late, but rarely stays up with them at this hour. She's up before first light, after all. Well, what do you know about Cassandra? She's incredible. She's no spring chick, but she can split a boulder better than any man in the village. You can tell her apprentices respect her just by the way they look at her. Everyone in the village feels the same way. If she speaks up, we take notice. She is intimidating though. I wanted to give her a suggestion about some stone arrowheads she fashioned, but she looked really angry when I approached her. She was yelling at one of her students and another was on fire or something, so my timing was poor. There's lots I'd love to learn from her, but I'm too old to be taken seriously as a candidate. I'm going to explore the town. If Eb ran up to you like that, you'd also be happy? Oh. Wait, hold on. What? Curfew's in effect? You shouldn't be out here? There's a curfew? Okay, well I guess we can't just stand around then. I guess we... What do you do here? Me? Oh, I'm not anyone important, Fatebinder. I never took a particular trade, and I'm not a man of letters. I just help out where I can. I count the produce for Hermod. He lets me take a few fruits when I'm done. And of course, the Forgebound always need fresh water, so I'll pump it for them from time to time. I'm sure Cassandra appreciates that. I need a place to stay until morning. Oh, of course, Fatebinder. Philia lets me stay in her son's old room. There's a cot there you can use. The man looks like he's floating. Erasmus. A young man squints at the bottles in front of him. He picks them up, shakes them, and sets them down, dissatisfied after every examination. Was it fennel pollen? Or rhubarb root? Hello, traveler. Something I can do for you? What are you looking for? My wife took fever recently, burning temples and an awful rash. She's a tough one, but I wanted to get her some medicine. I know that boiled silverthorn works well, but that's a few rings too many for me. There must be an alternative. Elderbark is what you want. Almost as potent as silverthorn, but a lot more plentiful. You can probably buy it for a song. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. I'm quite worried about my wife, and these herbs will really help. Is there anything I can help you with? It's the least I can do. I got some questions. Of course. Thanks to you, I could spare a moment before getting these herbs back to my wife. What would you like to know? What do you think of the Forgebound? No qualms here. I was a bit nervous having them in town at first. You have to understand, we fared better than most during the conquest. Kyrus's war raged on elsewhere, so none of his armies marched through Southaven. But who knew that the Forgebound would attract attention from the Archons or Brotherhood raiders? But they proved me wrong. Nobody attacked the village after they arrived. When Cassandra isn't training them, the Forgebound help us out however they can. Can't say I'm a fan of the curfew they enforce, but it's a fair trade for their service. Tell me about the curfew. Cassandra demanded it. I guess the Forgebound dealt with raiders on their journey here and don't ever want to be caught unawares again. It's a hassle, but I'd rather them here. Not like you need to be wandering around in the dark anyway. So aside from a few folks, most of us stay indoors come the evening. Cassandra's apprentices then keep an eye out for intruders. After a full day's work, too. Theirs is not an easy trade. You have any opinions about Cassandra? I'll have no issue with her. Truth be told, I've never really spoken to her. You can hear her barking orders at her apprentices at all hours of the day. I never felt comfortable interrupting their sessions, though I know some folks like Capturon help them out from time to time. Perhaps you should ask him. Tell me about him. Capturon's been in Southaven for a long time. Everyone knows him. He's a simple man, but about as good-hearted as they come. My father grew up with him right here. Said he's always been kind. Capturon doesn't have a trade to speak of, other than helping others. He'd probably go out to pick herbs for me if I ask him. He likes to stay near the village entrance to direct travelers most of the time. Since he's always assisting folks in the Forgebound, he's one of the few that are allowed to wander about during evening curfew. Of course, everyone knows that he's smitten by their leader. He finds every excuse to be close to the Forgebound, and every excuse to avoid speaking with Cassandra. He's an old man with a child's heart. Well, thanks for that wealth of info. That tells me a lot, actually. Are there any hidden containers off this way? Eh? No? Okay. Oh, we lost inspiration. Oh, right. Because we slept overnight. You see a tall figure with a patchwork sash of animal pelts slung across her shoulder. The skin on her sunburned face melds with a pair of naturally flushed, freckled cheeks. She speaks energetically to two nearby villagers, animated in her depiction of a recent hunt. I had to crawl real low through the brush. Those critters have eyes like eagles, but are too deaf to hear their own farts. I got close enough to see its nose wriggling in the air. They can actually feel you coming that way, you know. But it was too late. One swift thrust later, it turned into dinner. She hears you approaching and spins around, spear held playfully. Aha! Who goes there? The laugh is hearty, but ends abruptly as she takes note of your appearance. Apologies, Fatebinder. I had no idea you were visiting us. Forgive the jest. I've been burdened with an overabundance of energy since childhood. One way or another, it comes out. What can I do for you? Tell me of the Forgebound. Fine folk as far as I'm concerned. Everyone around here is better off with them. Cassandra and her students keep me supplied with fresh spear tips and arrowheads, so my life's never been easier. They spend most of their time in training, though. I think that's the real reason they're here. To pass on secrets from master to pupil in a safe place. Cassandra's a hard ass, in more ways than one, but her students are better off for it. They certainly make short work of any of our requests. Nails, hooks, blades, whatever you can think of. Only old Lycus didn't take too kindly to their presence, but that's because he's a half-rate smith whose blades are as limp as he is in the sack. Anyway, I like them. I'm not too wild about the curfew they've demanded, but Cassandra insists that it's for our safety. I haven't seen any Brotherhood of Bandits while out on my hunts, so it's not like we're less safe because of it. With a toothy grin, Hyacinth offers a friendly wink as you approach. Talking like we're not already talking. She's a tough nut to crack. She's been pounding steel for so long that she's forgotten how to hang up the hammer and enjoy other pursuits. I first got to know her after we got talking about hunting implements. I think she saw something in my enthusiasm for it all, and we've steadily become pals. She's a much different person after she unwinds. Not that there's anything wrong with having a tough exterior. She's a master of napping, after all. You've got to maintain appearances. Cassandra's Gravelight tools seem unique. Any chance she'd part with them? I have no clue about her tools, but I'm asking anyways, I guess. Doubt it. All she ever goes on about is chisels. Moils, flates, tampers. Who knew there was so much to know about wedges with handles? If you need tools, ask her. I bet she'll make them for you just to show off what she can do. But her tools? Seriously, those are probably the only things in this world she genuinely loves. And those are... I'm going to assume those are actually Jaspos's tools. I'm just going to make that assumption. I could be extremely incorrect. But, that is my supposition at this time. Nicodemus. And Cassandra, master of napping. She's very good at napping. She can snooze like no one's business. A barrel-chested man surveys the area with a stern expression, eyeing you nonchalantly as you approach. A large horseshoe mustache traces the top of his mouth before racing down to his chin. When he speaks, the bristles nearly mask his lips. Well met, Fatebinder. What do you need? Nicodemus, Cassandra's second. I have a few seasons under my belt, unlike these pups in the forge. I watch over things when Cassandra has better things to do, which is always. What can you tell me about your leader? Tough, but fair. Cassandra knows that teaching and napping are both acts of reduction. In the case of teaching, one chips away at ignorance. Some don't like her approach. Such fools are not fit for our guild. Why are the Forgebound here? Ask Cassandra. She gives the orders here. No point in me guessing at her meaning. Anyone else to talk to first? Nope, okay. A small group of Forgebound stand in conference around an older, gray-haired woman. Blue tattooed streaks trail down from her hairline, coming to rest upon a pair of eyebrows permanently fixed in a severe expression. She grasps a hunk of jasper and strikes it several times with a sharp piece of obsidian. The motion should feel rhythmic as you work the stone, as mundane as breath. Her sinewy biceps contract to control the force from each impact, keeping the jasper remarkably still. Listen to your senses. If the shape in your mind doesn't feel inevitable, then you are wasting your strength and my time. Noticing your approach, she halts her demonstration and waves off her apprentices. We'll continue this later. Fatebinder. I am Cassandra, Master of Napping. The Forgebound present here are in my charge. I know your time is limited, and South Haven too remote for this meeting to be chance. What is it that I can do for you? You have hair? I thought all Forgebound shaved their heads. She permits a smirk for the briefest of moments. I've shaved my head for nearly every day of my life. I think I've earned a reprieve. These idiots don't get that luxury. We have these traditions for a reason. If you waded into a forge fire all day, you'd know better than to grow a mop of wicks out of your head. How'd you end up here in South Haven? A master of napping, it is my duty to build the forges that keep the others occupied. Bronze and iron are the guild's trademark, but stone's the foundation. When Kairos' conquest began, my kin followed the armies into the tiers, and I led the efforts to build up Lethian's crossing. With our task at the crossing complete, there was naught to do but return home. I barely made a long march south, so I decided to head towards the closest port, just near here, and planned to catch a boat back home. But the journey here was difficult. Brotherhood bandits ambushed us on the road. They fancied our forge implements and thought them fair payment for use of the road. I refused, and we brained them with our hammers. I cracked a rib or three, and some others in the party were wounded, so resting in South Haven seemed wise. The locals were overly accommodating, and I started wondering if I'd even live through the sea voyage home. So I decided to set up shop and teach here. Our temporary stay became rather permanent. Do you know of a man named Captheron? Captheron? Oh, for fuck's sake. A lovesick cub if I've ever seen one. He is helpful with hauling and odd jobs, but enough with his endless pining. Not that he's ever experienced love, as best as I can tell. He's well past fathering age, but probably couldn't find a vagina in a brothel. He mostly keeps his affections to himself, thankfully. He's harmless and always compliant if you yell loudly enough. Do you fancy spineless men? Have at 'em. Damn. Damn. I thought Jaspos was master of napping. Jaspos? I thought officers of the court would be better informed, Fatebinder. There can be only one master of napping at a time. I'm not a corpse yet, despite the wishes of my apprentices, so the title remains with me. So what rank does Jaspos hold if he's not a master? Why are we even talking about Jaspos? The only title he's fit to wear is Master of Arrogance. He was a dutiful enough student, but I've heard the boasts he's made to my apprentices in private. He learned quickly, I'll give him that, but he was a long way off from attaining any kind of mastery. It takes at least a decade of consistently impressive work before the guild would allow for the title of master to be bandied about. If I dropped dead tomorrow, there are a dozen more qualified to inherit my title. What gave you this notion that Jaspos is the master of napping? It's a detail that came up as part of an investigation of mine. I can say nothing more on the matter. If this is true, then someone must be informed about... If it's true that Jaspos is claiming such things, know that it is a punishable offense in the Forge-bound Guild. When you are more at liberty to discuss what you know, please bring this to the Guild's attention. I'm here to retrieve his napping tools. Jaspos's tools? What sort of nonsense is this? Good question. I'm starting to suspect I've been duped, and I'm guessing the only tools here are yours. To commemorate my 50 years with the Guild, Zidania made me a tool set of the most exquisite craftsmanship. No doubt that's what Jaspos has in mind. After we left Lethian's Crossing, I noticed the set was incomplete. Several key hammers and chisels, one of my best loops, all missing. At the time, I assumed the fault lay with me. The way to South Haven wasn't without its troubles, and I assumed I misplaced things during the shuffle. I would never have guessed that Jaspos would steal them from me, from his own master. If my knees were still good for sprinting, I'd chase down the ungrateful rake and pulverize his skeleton one bone at a time. I suppose making tools is what I do best. Not like I can't replace what was lost, but those tools were a gift, and not even I can fashion sentimentality out of rock. I'm not sure how exactly I can help you with this situation, Fatebinder. What makes these tools so special? Zidania fashioned them as part of a series of works inspired by some pre-war study into the Tidecasters and their ways. She took it upon herself to spend a year working only with the crystals and metals the casters use in their designs. My tools were some of her best pieces that came from that year of experimentation. I try not to make a big deal about having tools inspired by Tearsman magic, but they are the finest I've used. I guess the idea is that some of the Moonlight's energy remains trapped in the business end of the tools. All I know is that with them in hand, I can work faster and with more precision and strength. In truth, I can do just fine with the lesser tools. As much as I adore the set Zidania made for me, nobody can make a handle to fit my hand quite like I do. But if Jaspos thinks he can claim the rest of my tools and pretend to greatness, that ungrateful wretch is dead to me. I misunderstood the situation. The tools are rightfully yours. Thank you, Fatebinder. I'm glad we could clear up this misunderstanding, and I'm sorry that one of my own deceived you. As his instructor, I should have spotted the flaw in his scruples. The shame is mine that he was not cleft from our ranks sooner. Jaspos, the liar. Well, that makes my running around useless. Also, Catherine. I can't tell if Cassandra doesn't like you. Okay. Well, he gets to live on in blissful ignorance, I suppose. Phlogiston? I might have the phlogiston. Also, there's 2 towers here. And there's another one here, that's 3 more. It's 3 of 5? Okay. Let's head up to the spire here. We'll trade out one of our members. We'll make some party changes. He probably knows. He avoids talking to her more than we'd expect from a crush according to description. I'm not sure he knows. I'm sure he's afraid of that being the case, but I'm sure he doesn't actually know that. Claire, this is the sort of question that can get you killed. Very little is known about how Archons are born or come to power, and my long life has taught me that Kairos and the Archons prefer it this way. If the young and talented remain forever in the dark, the old and mighty can rule without challenge. I heard of Ash. He'll always be merely Ash to me, before Kairos renamed him and gave his legion that backhanded title, as a rebel, a grimy, illiterate partisan who was winning battles while his countrymen of the Northern Kingdom lost left and right. Ash was always a good leader, but he wasn't born able to mystically reach out and protect his soldiers. The earliest mention of it isn't even until the tail end of the Northern Conquest. If you read the journals, they don't tell stories of grievous harm warded off by Ash's stern looks. Instead, they talk of his soldiers finding their fears and doubts lifted from them by Ash's presence. A careful reading suggests the ability to actively protect physical harm came years later, as that bond grew and, more importantly, as his legend grew. That legend part is the key detail. In my understanding, an Archon's power is something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The widespread perception of an Archon's power is the very thing that strengthens an Archon's power. So, in Ash's case, he had some early inkling of a power, the ability to assuage the burdens of his men, and as he took on the mantle of power and became known all around Terratus as the next Archon of War, it soon became the ability to bear the physical burdens of his men, not just their fears and doubts. Thus, my advice to you is to act like an Archon. Take power where you can find it. Foster fear, foster love. Never walk through life anonymously, rather live in the thoughts of your followers and the anxieties of your enemies. Thank you for weighing in on all of this. To ask perhaps too obvious a question, if I am such an anomaly, such a threat, why hasn't the Overlord dealt with me right away? An edict or just a simple request of blood and mark would be no small threat. Neither seems to have happened just yet. What's your take on this? Okay, I want to edit my party. I suppose I need to talk with one of them to edit party.
My Lord Binder, you have something which requires my... What can I do for you?
Suit
If
up.
you would have me travel at your side, then I am not opposed to seeing more of this degenerate realm. Onward.
And thank you for the watering 2 minutes ago, Red. And the stretch from User Beltus. Good stuff, good stuff. Alright. Goodbye, Kills and
Wait
Shadow.
for a short while.
Picking up verse. And I know I talked to you, Barrett, but you're staying behind. And now to Hunter's Respite. Also, Verse has some leveling to do. And by some, I mean one. One level. Melee, critical hits, damage, enemies near their target. And know your enemy will also grant accuracy to Verse when she grazes an enemy. Fine Feeny, hey Bly. How's it go? Requires killing spree 1. After kill, Verse will strike twice with their attacks. Yeah. Let's go ahead and grab that one.
Sorry,
Alright.
I can't.
There's some people over there, and there's more people over this way. A tall, thin man of bronze and leather scrutinizes your approach, hand on the hilt of his blade. That's far enough, stranger. Oi, Crocus, we've got company. A massive man answers the lookout's cry, his approach marked by a pronounced swagger. Crocus rests a massive axe on one broad shoulder. His hair seems to have migrated largely from his scalp to his chin, and the veins at his temples stand out against his deeply tanned skin. Hey, lay. Right away. Besides Carrier here, I've got an entire squad behind me. Experienced warriors all. So I'm left wondering, who the fuck are you? I'm going to go with the athletics check. I'm here for Crocus. The rest of you have this one chance to leave with your guts still inside you. Two of the mercenaries share a look of concern before backing away from the rest. Motherless beast shits. Twigs snap underfoot as two of Crocus's supporters turn and flee. He turns back to you, cheeks flushed with rage. Oh, okay. We dismissed them and we still get to talk. You must be the merchant Asa, and this your loudmouthed daughter. What? Asa's back down by... She's elsewhere. Carrier and Crocus exchange confused blinks. I brought a few of my people to make sure that the clearing was as clear as he claimed, which it clearly isn't. You raiders then? We've got nothing worth killing over. It ain't worth your time nor trouble to start shit with us. I'm Fatebinder Claire, but more importantly, this is Verse. And I'm about to adjudicate your head open. Justice for my Fury sisters. Oh shit! 2 arms! 2 arms! We're always winning, Red. I just can't stop winning. Gravedigger. Lantry first, cast Greater Renewal. And Terratus Embrace. Mother's Embrace. Yes, Mother's Embrace on that one. And then Verse. The Eternal Flame, baby!
To battle!
Give him that clap that shocks. See if we can't knock that one down.
Fall before me!
And let's do Blood-Soaked
How am I
Stone.
not dead yet?
There we go. There we go. Easy. Hold, hold for the love of Kairos. Hold like you held when you and your friends killed my fucking sisters. For the love of Kairos, indeed. Hold, please, wait. I'm not proud of what I did back then. I'm a changed man, I swear it by the Overlord. I've got a wife now. She's asleep right over there. You mean she didn't wake up from the fighting? I earn an honest living by the damn axe. I protect licensed traders. You're not proud? You've been boasting about it all over Haven. What? No, you don't understand. I couldn't find work otherwise. I thought maybe I could win a few fights on the crossing to prove my mettle, but the fucking guards there jumped me as a group. So I had to tell people about the Furies. It was talk about your sisters or starve and let my wife starve. Is this better than starving? Her boots come down hard on his ankle, eliciting an audible snap. The sound dissipates into his scream. Oh, Lord, help me. I never wanted to hurt anyone. It was my damn job. I swore an oath to an apex lord because I wanted a bed and food. Not because I thought Kairos would ever come to the tears. That oath didn't just dissolve when your armies passed the gates of judgment. I had to kill conscripted tearsmen by the gang. And yes, I helped kill your friends. Not friends, asshole. Sisters. Sisters, then. It wasn't my idea. Pretorius had the location. Sick bastard wanted to cook them with his flames. Irissa, she wanted to hunt Furies. Wanted a head on a pike she could wave at her enemies before battle. I was just there following orders. You said Pretorius cooked people? I never actually saw him eat someone, but I'm sure he did. You could see it in his eyes when he looked at you. That hunger. He was a sage, so maybe that explains it? Overlord knows what those fuckers do in their libraries. Certainly not cannibalism. And copulating with scrolls has been frowned upon for centuries. We took one of you alive, you know. What? What the fuck are you talking about? After you disappeared, we realized that one of your Furies was still alive. The big bald one. Pretorius took her. Never saw her after. Liar. Where's Pretorius now? I don't know. I swear by everything and everyone I'd tell you if I knew. He probably died in the Edict of Fire. Or served him right if so. If not, well, he deserves this treatment more than me. What about Irissa? Like I said, Irissa burned with the fire of revolution. After Apex fell, the crazy bitch couldn't lay down her spear. Last I heard, she was down in the Blade Grave, joined up with those stalwart shitheels, killing his favorite in the Overlord's endless storm. Here. He fumbles with the case at his side before offering a well-soiled parchment in his blood-slicked fingers. This was from her. She wanted me to come find her and take up arms again. I didn't write back. I'm changed. I love the Overlord. Praise Kairos. How do you want to play this verse? It's a delicious tragedy, I'll give you that. Let's write it a suitably bloody ending. She fingers the edge of her small bronze knife. I've sworn loyalty to Kairos. Go hunt Irissa. Go kill Pretorius. They're your true enemies. They're the ones who deserve your justice. And don't worry. We will. Oh, please. This is a big moment. It is. First, I think this man suffered enough. Suffered enough? He hasn't begun to suffer. I could just tell her to trust me. I can make her fall in line with athletics to gain some minor fear. She has no fear of me at the moment. Glare silently, or some subterfuge. And I could lose a little bit of loyalty with her. I'll gain some minor fear from her. You've got him on the brink of death. I won't let you throw him over. Are you kidding me? Mercy for the sack of shit? She meets your eyes for several seconds, then sighs. Fine. This one's for seeking sheath. She gives Crocus a hard kick to his knees. He stumbles to his feet, one arm clamped over his ribs. Without looking up, he ambles toward the small campsite, sweeping up his pack and slinging it over one shoulder. He carefully hefts the sleeping girl into his arms, cradling her, and carries her from the clearing. She's still sleeping after all of that? Is she actually dead or sick? That's a serious sleep. To sleep through not just a battle, but him
Irissa's
screaming.
next. Let's go find her. Seeking was special, you know.
Tell me about her.
Seeking was all dynamo. Short, with hair like moss on a stone and skin the color of the night sky. Laughed at everything. even insults. She never stopped moving. If we camped, she paced the tents or palisades, always pushing us to get on. Part of it was the gambling. People would stop taking her bets after a day or two. The first time she says she can put a javelin in an apple at 100 yards, a man puts rings down. The second time, he's willing to go double or nothing. The third, that's when he stops betting.
She sounds amazing.
Kairos' crooked cock, was she?
Damn. Kairos has got swollen tits and a crooked cock? Based.
Crazy thing about Seeking, it wasn't raw talent. She practiced that shit. The spear work and the javelins, practiced every hour she wasn't sleeping or on assignment. She'd thread the sky with 3 or 4 javelins and dance towards her foe with a spear longer than she was tall. She'd knock a soldier's feet out from under him and let the javelin pin him to the ground. That's her name. Her spears found their marks as if they sought them.
Oh, you see, Verse? I thought it was a sex thing.
That too. Her name meant more than the spear play. Seeking always sought, always looked for new things, new experiences, new stories, new men, new bits of lore. In summer, she'd collect stinging insects, fill thin clay jars with them, and smash them against her foes. No fight was ever even for Seeking. You either got the drop, or you got dropped. Thanks. You know, for listening.
Sounds like a spear of many uses.
Let's go. This oath-breaking scumsack won't hunt herself. Will do.
Alright, well, we saw... Yeah.
More bodies to pop.
Fury's Rush. Flurry of blows. And Ebb. Go start drowning that one.
Mile in our wake.
Sorry, can't do that. Wait! I did that?
Are you currently, like... Stop for a moment? Oh no, you're just using your spears? I see. Well, no, you're just chucking it for no real reason.
Bleed out, you little shit.
Skewer!
Will do.
Yeah, violence time, yippee!
Sorry, I can't.
Alright, that's it for this area. Rissa at the Torn Strand. Which is over there. Well, let's go to Phlogiston. After a few hours of difficult traveling through an area with dense undergrowth, you happen upon a small stream where you can refill your water skin and wash the sweat from your brow. Nearby is about a large copse of narrow trees with leaf-bearing vines coiling around their trunks. As the vines snake upward, dozens of thin, yellowish-green stems spring forth along the plant's cane, some of them stiff and upright, others drooping downward like long hairs. At the end of these stems, an explosion of bright orange berries radiates outward, ripe and abundant. To your eye, They appear to be bristleberries. They're a very distinctive fruit, nutritious and energizing. They're also, unfortunately, exceedingly similar in appearance to bristlebane, a berry that is tolerated by beastmen and animals, but rather toxic to humans. Examine the leaves. The leaves extending from the main vine are bright green and lobed, with edges resembling undulating hills. This matches an old saying you recall about the berries. Leaves like hills, safe from chills. Leaves like rain, unending pain. Clustered together in tight drupelets, the berries vary from bright orange to a yellowish orange color. And the size of each individual fruit differs slightly between bristleberry and bristlebane, but it's very difficult to determine without the two side by side. I'll rub some pits against my skin. Better to test with your skin than your stomach. You break off a cluster and mash the berries between your fingers, revealing the tiny pits inside. You work in slow circles. You rub them against your arm for a few seconds. Your skin remains free of any stinging rash, which you take as a good sign. You adopt a cautious approach, filling your pouches with berries while eating only a single cluster. The fruit is sweet and tart, surprisingly juicy for its size, and the thought of immediately eating another handful is tantalizing, but you restrain yourself. With the stream as your guide, you follow the dense forest and eventually reach the main road with little difficulty. The rush of sugar and euphoria puts a spring in your step. Certain you spotted your edible berry from toxic, you tear into your pouches and devour the berries, invigorated by every bite. Satisfied, you bound down the road, revitalized for the journey to come. Yay! We found good berries to eat. And we have the next missive. Archon Claire, allow me to address you by such a title before it becomes fashionable to do so. I pride myself as a woman who stays ahead of the trends. Why Kairos smites some but allows others to exist is a question we all ponder. The Overlord can certainly appear arbitrary, and if I've learned anything, that's the point. Kairos is intentionally aloof and distant, both for matters of personal security, and because if you had to wrangle the most powerful entities of Terratus, you'd need to keep them from getting too comfortable. To me, the most obvious answer that Kairos knows exactly what you're doing. She probably approves of your actions, and is like working at every opportunity to create a situation wherein you are acting in your own self-interest while satisfying her ambitions as well. You have to consider one important detail. There's nowhere left in Terratus to conquer, now that the tears are in the Overlord's grasp. What would the great generals even do in a time of peace? The voice of Nerad is barely tolerable when you have need of a spy master. Why keep around such a monster when you no longer have need of such a gruesome weapon? I would argue that it is in Kairos' interest that the tears be a costly invasion that claims the lives of as many of the Archons as possible. Not enough meat on the tears to keep too many sharks sated very long. Kairos ordered everyone to take Ascension Hall or die. The or die must have been an acceptable option, correct? If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say you have the unspoken backing of the Overlord. It's not like Blood and Mark can't find you whenever he wants. And nothing further to speak on. Ooh.
Have a look here.
Remarkable sigil of strength. Requires lore of 100. Good thing one of us knows that. Strength 5. Plus 60 lore cost. Wow. So if we do healing. A lore required of 170 to do influential domain and strength 5 to, you know, have an area of effect that heals 3 health per pulse for a AoE of 8 meters, plus 19% max health 45 seconds. What else can we do on there? I don't want to do that one. Make it last longer. Make it require a lore of 225 by adding cyclical energies in timeless form to it. So its duration is 21 seconds, and its cooldown is a minute 18. And our boy Lantry only has 100 lore. And he's the wizard. He's the one with the highest lore skill. And he ain't even halfway to being able to cast that shiz. Yeah. No, the Scarlet Fury is not even bothering to talk to me. So I'm going to loot the entire area first. And then I'll talk. Cyclical energy is really nice for certain spells. Perhaps not for that one though. Oh, I know. Like, it didn't matter how I built that spell. Lantry wasn't going to be able to cast it with strength 5.
Sorry, I can't.
So I just thought it would be funny. Alright, so Phoebe's up there. Alright, Crass Kellia. A tall, heavily scarred blood chanter thrusts a disapproving finger towards a group of hordsmen loudly arguing amongst themselves. Hurry this shit up, mooks. Once Rancid member brings his scouts back, we're moving on out of this dung heap. We're done here. She hears your approach and turns around, panting slightly from exertion. Kairos' fetid merkin, a fate binder out here, of all places. I know the voices of Nerat want your eviscerated heart, but I have no interest in trying to collect. Not when we have work to do. I prefer my gangs have our strength to fight the disfavored, so keep your weapons lowered and we'll do the same. So, what do you want? What are your horsemen arguing about? Now, they think they're debating about who got their stinking mitts on the Silent Archive, but all they're really doing is helping me figure out who gets a spiked boot up the ass first. Thing is, we get few updates from the censor out here, so that leaves these idiots free to muddy the truth up with their own hog shit. They did good with the sages, though, so I'll tolerate it. What were the sages doing? Hardly matters now. There's not much to be found in this ash-sheep countryside, so they were probably trying to find a way into the burning library. Now that the Silent Archive's been found, there's nothing left for them to steal. I told those asswipes to. The look in their eyes said it all. Made the whole damn week here worth it. I've come to speak with the sage, Phoebe. Fat chance, Fatebinder. I'll respect your rights as Tunon's lapdog, up to a point. Your title is the only thing that separates you from those traitor sages. I'd sooner fight barehanded against a dozen beast women in heat than to help you, so no fucking way. I could take my aggression out on the sages or you. Do you have a preference? She grips her staff and studies you intently. Well, shit. If you had asked so nicely in the beginning, we could have saved a lot of time. What in Kairos' bloody drawers are you all gawking at? Fatebinder, have her. Have at her. What the fuck do I care? We never saw you. Then I was never here. Hey, Phoebe. Another interrogator. Injured and restrained, the middle-aged woman manages a weak smile between swollen and blood-caked lips. Though the cuts and burns run the length of her body, her quiet composure grants a surprising measure of dignity. Apologies if I'm running short on screams. Ah, Sage Phoebe, you're looking like you're staying active. Oh, for the love of Why am I not surprised to see the Overlord's most loyal fanatic on the side of my captors? Who's your friend? Sage Phoebe and I go back a ways, though we rarely worked together back in the day. She and I didn't see eye to eye on many things, such as the march into Kyrus's drumbeat already? Was this the arrangement? You preach surrender to the sages and Kyrus's minion treat you like a kept pet? Hey, Thomas. Hold on, I keep people like a pet of my own accord, not because of any other agreement. Show some respect when you speak of Save the Lantry. Yeah. Enough of that. You do well to listen to the Fatebinder and obey. I doubt you believe me, but I don't want you to suffer more than you already have. No matter how many times I try to divulge all that I know, you all seem to think I'm hiding more. So be it. We'll play this little game once more. Ask your questions. Answer my questions, then we'll discuss your fate. I don't suppose you'll be setting me free if I answer your questions. That depends on your cooperation. I suppose I'm in no position to decline. What were you doing here? Foraging, trying to find food to survive. Ever since the Edict of Fire, I've been homeless and nomadic. Yet I can't bring myself to wander too far from the burning library. It still feels like the center of Terratus to me. What about this village specifically? When you warned us of the Edict of Fire, many of my peers grabbed whatever they could carry and fled the Vellum Citadel. Whatever texts made it out are now all we have of our old lives. I know some survivors passed through this village. It seemed plausible they would stash something here, so I stopped to investigate. And then the chorus found me and the beatings began. And so you're telling me I warned the sages of the Edict of Fire, and in thanks, you all committed acts of hoarding forbidden lore? I thought more as recovering what was ours. I didn't. There was no criminal intent. The truth is, I stashed some old writings in this village years before the war. I came back to recover the texts, but someone beat me to it. So my stash was already looted, and to add insult to injury, these chorus goons found me. My peers all suffered because I insisted on gathering up old things. A foolish error. What sort of text? Just poetry, an almanac, sentimental stuff. I can't imagine such things would interest you. You're right. I was hoping to hear that you had hidden away some research into some Grand Archon known only to the Tearsmen. Her eyes lit up for the comment. Well, not an unknown Archon, but... Finish that thought. Though my work was in the earlier stages, I was exploring an adaptation of sorts, an old tidecaster magic. I was working with the expression that allowed earth and alloys to be made liquid, and then back into solid. I thought this aqueous metallurgy, as I called it, would change the world of artifice as we know it. But all I've done with the magic is ruin perfectly good trinkets. I fear this magic is doomed to be little more than a novelty. It was here in this village, but someone found it before. No more playing coy. It's still here. How about this? If you kill my captors and swear by Kairos that I'll walk out of here alive, I'll tell you where it's hidden. I'll not slaughter them so needlessly, or convince them to let me go, but I think we both know brutes only listen to violence. Of late, they seem to be amused with wagering on events in the burning library. I'm sure you can get them fighting it if you put your mind to it. I'll see if I can sow some discord. Swear by Kairos that I shall leave this place alive, or you will have naught but silence from me. Yeah, I'll swear by Kairos. Thanks for seeing reason. I'll be here when you're done. Slightly more suspicious. confront the chorus about the gambling. I'll talk to Crass again. Fatebinder, so what do you want? Release the sages. This is the part you explain why I should do that. This isn't going to go well for you if you keep getting in my way. As far as I'm concerned, you speak for Tunon, not Kairos. And when this whole fucking mess gets sorted out, you're going to be in the wrong side of history. So bark all you like. Those sages are staying under my control. Okay. Stow it, Skinner. The fact that you fantasize about what Gaptooth can do with her mouth doesn't mean that she'll win the game, just that you desperately want her to. A little testy now, Ragwort. At least Gaptooth's a clever bitch. Why anyone would put rings on Fat Ulston winning is beyond me. We all know the only tenderness you've ever known is when you were passed out cold and that drunk wriggled on top of you. No need to take your frustration out on us. Fuck you, limp dick. I don't let anyone in my tent unless I want them there. Try it sometime, Niall. She pauses, noting your presence with a jerk of her head. I'll approach the group. A white-maned warrior spins around, gesturing to the others to stay put. Come closer, chum, the soldier calls out to you in an eager tone, twirling his axe energetically as he sizes you up. Well, fuck me. It's the Fatebinder. Plants the pommel of his weapon to the ground and gives the bladed end a kiss. Not today, love. Maybe later. The chorus warrior scans you from head to toe, twirling his axe, puffing up his chest. The boss said we're only free to kill disfavored. But if you come here for a fight, I'm sure we can oblige. So what brings you to this shit stain of a village? So gang bosses are now okay with wagers on the Silent Archive? Did I say that? I definitely didn't say that. One of these idiots is going to lose, but nobody's obligated to pay up. We're the Horde. Pride is worth more than rings. Sometimes we just measure that pride in rings. So, do you know who got the archive? Bone Whittler, Fat Ulston, Gaptooth, Numbly. I could do a lot of lying. I'm going to do the biggest lie and say it was Fat Ulston. I can't say it was me. I can't just come out and say it was me, so I'll say it was Fat Ulston. With the biggest lie. Mother, let's go, fucker. Not you, of course, Fatebinder. Listen, I have a small request if you're game. What if you told everyone else that Gaptooth won? Wouldn't that be fun? I'll do it, but only if you convince your boss to release the sages. Release them? Why the fuck would we do that? Oh, as much as I like playing with our captives, I like rings even more. Wait here a moment while I work on old Crassy. Vivi, you got 1,000 points, you know what that means? Does that mean
That you're a good peddle? Diligently gathering your points? Getting ready to spend them as soon as you hit 1,000? Like a good, obedient little peddle? And thank you, Vivi.
Alright, so now we're just waiting. No, the sage is my problem now. Okay. I was able to convince the chorus to let you go. Sage looks momentarily dazed. I can scarcely believe this, Fatebinder. That we could ever be free of the chorus, and that you would ever help us. As far as I'm concerned, they're both minor miracles. Thank you. Thank you for my life. Though feel free to spread the word that I'm a corpse. Life might be easier that way. As for my writings, they're in the smashed chest to the southwest, hidden between a burnt tree and the carcass of a wagon. Safe travels. And 3 sages run away and fade before they hit the end of the screen. Now we need to find the tome. Ah, right there. Need to agree with Phoebe on that. Tome of Aqueous Metallurgy. Book contains an extensive amount of information regarding how to mix Forgebound and Tidecaster magic together in beneficial ways. Now I gotta bring back to Wagstaff. Do we want to go ahead and go do that? Hold on, let me check the quest real quick. Alright, so travel with first Torn Strand. Investigate Sentinel Stand Keep. Wagstaff and Jaspos. Okay. We could head into Bladegrave. I'll head to the Torn Strand and hope we can get this tower. And then that'll make things easier in the future. Or at least that's the hope. The tumultuous winds of the Edict of Storms reduce visibility to arm's length as you press against the headwinds and into the Torn Strand. Silhouettes materialize in the swirling detritus before you, the sound of their approach swallowed entirely by the raging gale. The shadows resolve into haggard warriors, attired in ragged leather and tarnished bronze. One man steps forward, pulling off his helm to reveal a grime-roughened face of deep umber, cross-hatched with pale scars. Hold, stranger. You don't look like one of Ash's inbred handmaidens, for you're no scion of Stalwart. So, who are you? Your mother didn't teach you to introduce yourself first? She did. I am called Diocles, son of Taranos, veteran of the unbroken Union of Stalwart. These are my sworn women and men, strong soldiers each, with a mettle tested in the forge of war against Graven Ash's legion. So what did your mother name you? I am... You can call me Claire. You're the one they say awakened the mountain spire. What brought you down from your perch and into the storm? We're here. Ask your questions, Verse. We want Orisa. Unless you want a few more scars on the ugly mug of yours, I suggest you hand her over. Hollow threats don't bow the unbroken union of Stalwart. If you think I intend to surrender one of my soldiers to you, it's a misunderstanding I'm only too willing to rectify. This doesn't have to come to violence. We just need to ask Orisa some questions. You look more prepared for murder than interrogation. Why should I let you speak to her? I take it from the furtive glances that Orisa's already dead. Wait, what? Are you kidding me? Shit and double shit. Very perceptive. I hope you agree that spilling blood over a dead woman serves no one. Crocus claimed Orisa responsible for several slayings back in Apex. I don't know the name, but back in Apex, Orisa had some less than honorable compatriots. She tried to convince me that this one Haven mercenary is no stranger to killing for rings. Turned out he was a crook with as many names as alliances. When Orisa got word that he sold some of his charges into slavery, she broke ties with him. If you seek justice for someone slain in Apex, you'll have to do it somewhere else. Is there anything at all you can tell us about Orisa? Absolutely nothing. She's dead. We're not. I suggest you pack your gear and go. In hope of future cooperation between our forces, what would you know of me? Thank you for what you have told us. Farewell. Wait. Ancestors, forgive me. Orisa kept these gloves with her. When she last left, she asked me to get them to her sister, Clea. You'd be able to find her on her homestead near River's Break in Old Apex. It'll be years before I'm able to fulfill that request. You travel the tiers. If I give them to you, can I trust you, on your honor, to deliver the gloves to Clea? As Diocles presents the gloves, first his eyes widen, but she keeps her lips tightly clamped together. I'll see that she gets them. I hope that you do. You have what you came for. We're going to back way, and you should do the same. If we meet again, blood will spill. He passes over a leather-wrapped bundle and flashes a gesture to his compatriots, who peacefully depart. We managed to get through that without picking a fight. He generously rests a hand upon the bundled gloves. Fuck, I've missed these. You know these gloves? They belonged to one of my Furies. So Orisa had a sister. A sister for a sister, then. There's certain poetry in it, right? Are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting? We need to find this Clea. She must know something about who Orisa ran with during the war, right? And who knows? Maybe she turned out to be someone in need of a good stabbing through the face. Keep it in your pants first. You know you can't avenge yourself on a dead person, right? Killing your sister won't hurt Orisa. Yeah, I know. Kinda sucks, right? Don't worry, I won't stab anyone who doesn't deserve it. Come on, screw this place.
Sorry, I can't.
Oh, can I not pass through there? Dang. Can I just like pass through? I can. They're not gonna pay me any mind. I'll just quickly loot their camp before they say anything to me. Don't mind me just looting your camp. See if I can talk to them again. Okay, just make sure Clea gets the package. And here I was hoping I'd be able to access the tower from here. But I suppose not. River's Break. Okay, we'll go over there after Sentinel Stand. Which takes a day to travel to. Jeez. The Edict of Storms. Minus 20% range damage and minus 10 accuracy. Shame. Looks like it's all about melee in this area.
Been a while since I last came to Stalwart. All that disfavored fighting led to this.
The Blade Grave is a hostile land. It certainly seems that way. Until I break the edict, that is. Which, of course, I shall do somehow. Ooh. Hit him.
Sorry, I can't. Can't do that. Sorry, I can't.
I'm just gonna keep thoroughly exploring this place. Oh, hello. Remarkable. Would you look at those shifting winds? It's almost hypnotic. I've long desired the chance to see this embodiment of Kairos' wrath, though perhaps not so closely. Verse holds her ground, the storm whipping through her hair. I wonder if I could ride that storm. What do you say you find a barrel, seal it up with me inside, and see what happens out there? Maybe not. You step forward, but the winds repel you like a physical wall of force around the tornado's edge. The area ahead is impassable. Hear that? We're not alone. You catch an odd sound in the wind. A low moan hidden within a cacophony of swirling dirt and metal debris. The clouds of dust seem to close in upon you. Within them, you see patches of glowing red. Bane. I see. Okay. I see. I think the Bane are formed from Kairos' edicts, or they're related to the same power as the edicts. Because it seems wherever the edict's magic is kind of stronger or had a strong effect, the Bane seem to be. Or they're just attracted to the strong magic from the edict. That is also possible.
Trouble is afoot.
What you got? Got electric bolt, got phantom bolt, light of the grave.
Ready?
And be ready to cast that.
If I had kids, they'd be feeling that one.
If I had kids, they'd be feeling that one, nature says. Are the old walls related to Kairos? I feel like yes.
Learn something every day.
Either Kairos or Kairos' predecessor.
I can't take much more of this.
Since the old walls themselves are outlawed, like one's not allowed to go into the walls, it's illegal. There has to be information power within the walls that Kairos doesn't want others to get. Which could be that Kairos got their power from the walls? Or, you know, a previous empire Kairos held and the walls were part of the power structure. It's, you know, something like that. The Bane are gone, their unnatural cries silenced, leaving only the tornado's violence in your ears. As the dust clouds recede, you spot a crouched figure on the wall above.
We've got a scout. Look there on top of the wall. Will do.
Yeah, I see them. I'm just investigating other things first. Janos. A soldier kneels behind the ruined parapets. You can tell by his raiment, old stalwart gear, he's an unbroken soldier. He peers at you with a mixture of caution and curiosity. You handle the Bane well enough, but what brings you to this forsaken place? You're the Fatebinder of Tunon, are you not? Pretty far removed from your perch in Vindrian's Well. What brings you to Sentinel Stand? Not the weather, I think. I've always wondered if the air was cleaner atop the spires. I take it you're getting awfully familiar with them, if the word I hear from Lethian's Crossing is any indication. The air is cleaner, but also thin. Unsatisfying. Huh. Call that one curiosity scratched off the list. If you're ever in a position to offer tours, I'll be the first to sign up. I can't recruit him? Damn. I'm looking for the sword they call the Dauntless. I've heard of it, but the task sounds like a fool's errand to me. One of Stalwart's regents carried the Dauntless during the war, but either the winds or some battle swept the sword to places unknown. Hardly surprising. At their full strength, these winds can take skin from bone. Come up here if you doubt it. Not a pretty sight. I would have guessed you saw the entrance to Sentinel Stand and the imprisoned Northerners, like Graven Ash and his ironclads. I guessed wrong. Unless you've come to the Blade Grave to kill the last regent and end the Edict of Storms, the Unbroken have no cause to help you. I resolved Kairos' edict in the burning library. That ought to count for something. Maybe it does at that. You're not tied to Kairos' apron strings as tightly as before, are you? Still, you strike me as one of those doing the right things for the wrong reasons type, right? Why is the last regent important? The regents carried the bloodline of old Stalwart's ruling family. That link, any connection to the past really, carries a lot of weight. Maybe even too much. Of all the younger realms, Stalwart's ruling order has always been the most resistant to internal conflict. The flippant answer is to say they're all unthinking zealots. But put yourself in their footsteps. For all they've known, the regents have staved off all foreign invasions for centuries, while every other realm in the tiers cannot boast the same. That's a damn respectable reputation, so it's hard to fault the common folk for being so devoted to their dynasties. To make matters worse, the bloodline is tied to Kairos' edict. As long as they live, the storms will continue to tear apart our country, and the last of the regents is trapped in there. I see your point. As straight as Harridan, the last regent, is hiding behind Kairos' wind wall, pretending he's still a real Stalwart that was. First chance I get, I'm plunging my blade into his heart and ending this edict for good. Stalwart has suffered enough. What was that about the disfavored prisoners? Before the Edict of Storms hit us last year, a Stalwart patrol captured a company of disfavored. I know at least some of the prisoners made it to Sentinel Stand. No one's been in contact with the keep since the edict hit, but I have it on good authority that one of the prisoners was the daughter of Graven Ash. I'm no military strategist, but it doesn't take one to know that the Archon of War holds his troops in high esteem. The regent trapped in Sentinel Stand wouldn't execute one without trying to barter a deal. So there's at least a chance that the prisoner's still alive, don't you think? What do the Unbroken want? Sentinel Stand used to be a seat of pride for the regents of the Stalwart. These days it's just a wind-blasted ruin, but it can still be made an unassailable fortress for the Unbroken, if we could just dispel these storms. Kairos envisions us groveling in supplication, slowly eroding our culture like details carved in stone. We will not accept the meek vision of Stalwart. If I am to die, it will happen upon the battlefield, defending our nation's future. So, say the Unbroken can get through the storms. How do they expect to breach the keep walls? It's no small challenge, true, but we've had a year to make preparations. Our alchemists cobbled together a nasty and unstable powder that explodes when thrown in quantity. Stalwart Justice, I call it, though the name hasn't stuck. We have enough stockpiled to blow a hole in the old walls if we set our mind to it. So why are you here? I drew the short straw. The Unbroken make a habit of patrolling the outer fortress in case the storm breaks or someone happens to emerge from the keep. If we could find a way to cross the wind wall, we could take back Sentinel Stand and defend our country from a position of power. In any case, nothing ever comes of our patrols. Something of a fool's errand if you ask me. I'd be surprised if the storms calmed in my lifetime. No one holds a grudge like Kairos. So how can I find the Dauntless? You likely won't, but you weren't the only one looking for the legendary blade either. Our leader, Matthias, aimed to get his hands on Dauntless too. We haven't seen him some time. Takes note of the artifact in your possession, eyes widening during the appraisal. You got your hands on the mage bane, so you're clearly not above inconveniencing others to get what you want. We have a good soldier out of Duskwatch Fort by the name of Agathon. He would likely know more about Matthias and the hunt for the Dauntless. The area around Duskwatch is crawling with Graven Ash's ironclads, so tread lightly. If you can help Agathon dispatch them, all the better. And he fucks off. So Duskwatch is to be our next place, huh? Find clear at River's Break. Oh, I have a level. Command a fallen ally to rise. Everyone in the party regains a portion of their max health when a party member kills an enemy. Absolutely. I don't even have to consider anything else. Someone in the party beats an enemy up, we all get healed? Yes. That is good. And yeah, let's up my attack. I need more strong. So if I get down there, that'd be good, but I don't think I can. What if we try
Sorry,
to cross
I can't.
anyways? We can't. Okay. There is no crossing. Very well. There is a ramp here, but it's blocked off at the moment. Which is big sad. We can head to the fort. Yeah, because it's right there. Through the billowing dirt and rust kicked up by the Edict of Storms, you make out the shifting silhouettes of a small group ahead of you. Appearing lightly armed and armored, the group pulls 2 carts in their wakes. They haven't noticed you through the maelstrom. Hail them. Wary of your presence, the travelers halt when you hail them and await your approach. Their emaciated faces make it clear that hunger has left them weak. One steps forward to explain that they are scavengers from Old Stalwart, hoping to trade their haul in exchange for food for their families. A glance at their goods reveals that they're carrying remnants of bronze and iron arms, likely scrounged from the Blade Grave. The leader of the group, head bowed deeply in deference, asks if they may pass. Guide them. Escorting the travelers, you lead them through the ragged waste to the Blade Grave's broken border. They thank you profusely for your assistance, swearing to spread word of your fairness to others in Stalwart. Their leader shows their appreciation with a few pieces of scrap, where the group continues their march away from the Edict of Storms. Yay! The Unbroken favored. I will rule this land with love, not fear. Oh no. It's just my luck I would run afoul of Tunon's fate binder. Say, friend, why not just let me go? These are tough times, and mercy is more valuable than gold. Tell me what the disfavored's doing here, and I might spare you. Ash ordered us to take the fort. Commander Osmios also says there's a northern prisoner behind those walls. That's all I know. I'm mostly focused on my orders, like a good sentry. Everything you know about Duskwatch, now. Throughout the war, the Unbroken kept this fort locked up against Kairos' forces. It might not be much to look at, but the folks behind those walls are a spirited bunch. Not even the storm has broken their nerve. I know what the commander would say, that a southerner is too ignorant to wipe the grit from his eyes, but the Unbroken have been using the storm against us, and well, you have to respect that. Go on and get out of here. I'm tired of your face. Thank you. Never meant to get in the way of the law. Little does he know, I wouldn't have attacked or killed him anyways. Even if he knew nothing, I would have just let him live. But now I've got to circle the fort.
Sorry, I can't.
I like the detail of all the cut trees. Because on one hand, building the palisades. On the other hand, you also got to clear cut all the trees around so you have a good view around any fort. And the enemy can't really use the trees against you. They can't, like, try to build siege weaponry out of the trees. Looks broken as all heck. Or at least hastily thrown together. Okay. We've circled the fort. Now let's enter. You're not with the supply caravan, and you aren't unbroken. Fair warning, I have no wish to audience another of Kyros's empty appeals to surrender. You have no business here. Turn around and leave, or there will be consequences. I'm actually just seeking the Dauntless. I'm presently between loyalties. He blinks, then smiles. So you're cut off from Kyros's brood, and you thought you'd go treasure hunting in the ruins of Stalwart? That's chilling by any standard, and I almost respect it. Unfortunately, I'm not in the habit of handing storied weapons to every warlike expatriate who happens by. The sword belongs to the unbroken, and I doubt that a drop of Stalwart blood runs in your veins. Any one of us would lay down our lives to keep Dauntless out of foreigners' hands. Janice told me that Matthias was searching for Dauntless. That storm-crazy scout has been running his mouth again. I'd be an even greater fool if I told you where Matthias had gone, so you can forget about it. I won't have you sabotaging our efforts to secure the freedom of this country. You're taking the sword business awfully seriously. And you were the one who brought it up? Look, you seem nice enough, and weren't for everything that brought you here up to this point, yes, including the war, I'm sure we'd be fast friends. But Dauntless is a symbol of our country's strength and unity. Giving up would be a defeat second only to losing Sentinel Stand. And if you think I'm going to bend on that point, you're dead wrong. This world building seems to make siege weapons rare on the topic of tree. True. Siege weapons are primarily magic and edicts. Fair point. What can I do to persuade you? Get that out of your head. You have nothing I need and wouldn't trade any service in the world for Dauntless. All I can do is glare or attack, so I'll glare. I'm standing on the fringes of a tornado that kicks up, among other things, the bones of my countrymen. A harsh look isn't going to wear me down. Glare silently. I don't want to attack. I have no option except attack. Why is that my only option? Why can't it do anything else? Fine, so be it. You have my permission to die? This should be interesting. Wonder attack! Defend the gate! Keep the Fate Binder out!
Yes. Can't do that. Sorry, I can't. Sorry, I can't.
I attacked the fort at Duskwatch. Well, I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't even leave. So I just have to do the impossible and attack.
Can't do that.
And I figured maybe the weakened sections would, like, now be attackable or something. But nope. They're not hostile, so I can just attempt to open the door.
This'll be fun. I need to try a different tactic. This isn't working.
Lantry. Electrocute them all, please.
Pity you won't enjoy this as much as I do.
Wisdom is finally catching up to my age.
Stalwart prevails!
Let's soak stone. We've never tried opening the doors. I was just check what all my options were that weren't just the front door. Eternal flame, baby. Lantry, buddy, pal, drink a potion. Also, I'll have you disengage. And, you know, go a little bit distant. Titan's touch. Oh, he leveled up and so it. Okay, cool. Reduce the ability and spell cooldowns more. Yeah. I think we'll just hold on to that point. Improves his healing even further. Even further beyond. Plus ultimate.
That wasn't so hard.
Ooh, gore thrust. Gore thrust is a two-handed spear. Yeah, we don't have anyone actually uses those. I didn't check its one-handedness first. Unlike this javelin. Which, I mean, already using Seeker and Oathbound Dagger, so... Alright, we're gonna go counterclockwise around. And immediately I can't go counterclockwise around. Never mind, I will not go counterclockwise around, I will go clockwise. Alright, first...
You
Fire
got it.
arrow.
This'll be. Aye.
La da da da. La di da di da. Ooh, spiked iron helm. Barrick would love that if he could get out of his current armor. Stone chilled Callius.
Look at that, future course.
I'm just gonna let the auto battler do this.
Nobody saw that, right?
I've tweaked their
Cause more
AI.
harm than this useless weapon.
They're shooting more just basic. Yeah, see?
Take that!
They can fight without me. The disfavored prisoner has taken several beatings. He looks weary and unfocused. Hey, Lantry, can you, like, heal him?
Apologies, but I can't do that.
Oh.
I'm afraid not.
Okay. Then I guess not.
Heads up, we have company! Stalwart prevail!
Skyblade. Bronze armor.
Whatever you need.
None of these people are named or something.
Terrible assist. Why am I not dead yet?
I'll omit that from the record.
Let's do a blood-soaked stone.
Nipples on head. Useless.
You may shape My Hero Academia.
I got it.
Just said, go beyond plus ultra. Hey, verse.
Count on it. Count on it.
Electricity.
I did that? Nice! This weapon is entirely worthless.
El Kabong.
Consider it done.
Titan's touch. I do love the complete lack of mana system. You can just keep casting spells. There's no resources that need to be managed for your spells. So you're just allowed to keep using them.
Trouble is afoot. Hey!
Woohoo! I guess she built some new spells soon. This means I have access to stronger things, so I can
Fall before me!
upgrade some of them. The anime released too close to the release of this game for you to think of it as an intentional reference. No, it was something I said. Not the character or anything. I think.
Can't do that.
I don't remember anymore. I'll be real. I'm pretty sure it was just something that I had said. Yeah. Okay, well. We have emptied the camp. We didn't want to clear it out, but we have. The Unbroken. I've killed an Unbroken soldier 16 times. The Wrath is not even a level 1 yet. In fact, they still have more favor with me than they do Wrath. Are you friend or foe? That depends entirely on how forthcoming you are. Is this some trick? Are you toying with me with, like, the other Unbroken? Because... First doesn't say anything. Pause to listen. And then heavy footsteps approach behind us. Fatebinder, for an officer of Tunon's court, you employ an unusual brand of diplomacy. Quite frankly, I like it. It's a shame that our interests aren't aligned. In any case, we should have less trouble prying the stronghold from you than we did the Unbroken. Now stand down. I'm not giving up on the sport, but we need not come to blows. A pleasing sentiment, but you're too wild for the Legion. Graven Ash needs soldiers who take their orders. Kill the Fatebinder.
Look at that, future corpse. Sorry about that. God. Terrible at this. How am I not dead yet? Let's try that again. Watch and learn.
As you command.
Tertus Embrace. Nah, we don't need to do that yet, but Light of the Grave would be good.
We make this look easy. Sorry about that.
Artifact ability, Force of Peace. Storm Wheel. Arcane Unraveling. Oh, that's for the Bane only. Storm Wheel then. No clue for the last 15 years you've almost exclusively watched Josei anime? Yeah, as Blah said. Respectable. Understandable. Laudable even.
This weapon is entirely worthless.
We need more electricity, friend. And then could also do with second breath on our friend first.
Good as new, or at least newish.
Bleed out, you little shit.
Alright. With the captain dead, the auto battler can handle the dregs.
Oh, I'm enjoying this a bit too much.
You know what I have to say, this game
I need to try to
does
attack
have
that.
good battle AI. It's bad sometimes, of course. It has moments of being terrible. But it is respectable. at the very least. I don't know what you want, but my disfavored brethren have fallen, and I doubt Ash can spare many legions to my rescue. What would you have of me? I'm looking for a blade called Dauntless. Know anything about that? I saw that sword raised in triumph during the Stalwart campaign. The Unbroken rallied around it the way we cluster around Ash. I can only guess at how much it means to them. Last I heard, the Unbroken don't have Dauntless, but they're working to recover it. Compared to the rest of their problems, Dauntless is far from their highest priority. Why did the Unbroken need you? I was a contingency plan, nothing more. The Unbroken were just keeping me alive because of my former charge. I'm just a stone shield, but I was bound to serve Graven Ash's daughter, Amelia. It was my pride to fight at her side, and my great shame when Stratus Harridan's forces overpowered and captured our unit. The old regent may be 10 times as stubborn as his people, but he lacks none of their might. I'm sure you served the general's daughter well. If you seek to earn my favor with empty compliments, you shouldn't waste your time. Amelia didn't die on the field that day. We were both taken prisoner, but I was moved here and made to suffer. The edict hit shortly after, and I assume stymied any effort to recover us. If Stratus isn't a fool, then he's keeping her alive as a hostage for some future negotiation ploy. If the Unbroken don't have Dauntless, who does? I'm sure these stalwart wretches are asking themselves the same thing. As far as I can tell, the sword went missing after the edict hit. The leader of these Unbroken, Matthias, spoke of it to some length. He must have been confident in my capture, or else he would have used a lower tone. Matthias had the others convinced that some old stalwart artifact would help resist Kairos' storms. He planned on using it to let the Unbroken pass the wind wall and enter Sentinel's stand. The search for Dauntless was supposed to rally his troops around their cultural symbol, but I think they went wrong somewhere. He sent one of his best, Elia, and a team of scavengers to a place called Rust Canyons. They're digging for the remains of stalwart regents who fell in battle carrying the old heirlooms of Stalwart's royal armory. You might find your sword there. You've been very helpful. You can remain here as I found you. It's a death sentence, but one I was prepared to meet with dignity. I'd also be willing to help him. But, you know, he doesn't want that. Oh, you know what? I need to boost that up by 1. So at least at 10 across the board. Same with you. Killing spree upgrade. Okay.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
Healing potion and the Earth Shaker staff fragment. Very well. And I mean, hey, I guess we have a new fort under our command. No one in it, but it's ours now? Question mark. Yeah, it's got my banner on it. So, like, yay? Oh no, the banner's just me. But, I mean, still. It's ours? And we're just leaving a dude there to just wither away?
By now, I'm sure the finest gear has already been picked out of the rocks.
Yeah, I'm sure the same verse. An unbroken soldier struggles to rise to his feet. One arrow lodged in his shoulder, the other in his thigh. He attempts to stand, but his muscles are too weak for the task. Are you alright, soldier? He turns to you in bafflement, squinting across the dust-strewn expanse, recognition barely evident in his gaze. I can't recognize friend from foe in these winds. If there's any mercy in your heart, I beg you to help me. Before you can continue, you both catch the sound of iron boots trudging closer. A disfavored soldier calmly approaches from the west, He looks sprinting to me. He regards the vulnerable southerner with a curled lip and a disapproving shake of his head. Weak and broken. Prisoners make for poor sport. Your escape was spirited, but damned foolish. Stop this at once. No, not that Fatebinder from the Apex Siege. You might have had the authority to stay in my hand before you turned your back on the General, but I'm afraid Ash's orders are the only ones I take. One swift motion. He stabs the man's heart. This favored soldier turns to the unbroken camp, frustration evident in his tone. Then his gaze shifts over to you and back to the waffles. Are these your allies now, Elia? Traitors and miscreants who break wars rather than win them? Better that you open your gates to me and preserved your dignity. You see a woman stride purposefully into view atop a platform beneath the wall's edge. She lifts a spear and hurls it at Theodore, cursing under her breath when it breaks against the rocks. Brent told you about HDG and described it as tall plant alien woman plus pet play plus non-con? Yeah. You just thought of me? Yes, Vivi. That's where I got it from too. I am... though not much. I am so fucking tired of listening to you. Go shriek at someone else's fortress for a change, and stop trying to impress me by hunting down unarmed prisoners. Maybe the ladies of the north get shivery over your bravado, but all it tells me is that your codpiece is emptier than your skull. I don't believe you've been introduced. She spits over the edge. How's that for your courtly greeting? I gave you a chance to surrender and be my camp slave, Elia. When I hoist you onto a pike, just remember that you had a choice. And he runs away like a little coward.
I got it.
Ooh. Tearsman Greatbow. Hey, first, you're gonna hold on to that Greatbow. You're not going to use it yet. Will you? Maybe. Oh, it's not even any slower? Same recovery speed? Okay, then yeah, you're using the Tekken Greatbow then. Whenever you use your bow anyway. You'd be carrying two if you had to face Claire in combat. Fair. Be a good pincushion for a collection of spears.
Can't do that.
Also true.
Oh, nothing says welcome like dead bodies rotting outside your front gate.
The unbroken captain looks down from the elevated platform, resting a heavy boot on top of an axe head buried in the wooden slats. She grips his handle as you approach. What do we have here? Expression twists with sudden recognition. Aren't you the ones who fucked over Agathon at Duskwatch? We have nothing to say to one another. Either you're Graven Ash's favorite comfort soldier, or we just like to see honest folk die. Either way, you're a pile of beast shit to me. No matter what happens here, the Unbroken will take back Sentinel Stand and banish all you northern piss troughs from the tiers. I'd rather die than see Stalwart under Kairos' sigil. You can't imagine what I do to avoid it. Do you truly believe that you can win? I may die today, and Stalwart may remain a wasteland for another generation, but our people will remember. That memory will awaken a thirst only quenched by your overlord's blood. That hope is enough to keep me standing in defiance. Can I win? Probably not. Can Stalwart? Absolutely. I hear you're looking for artifacts. Found anything? Yeah, your mother's pizzle cane. You're on the wrong side of this war to be asking me anything. Again, I don't have the option to just leave and not do anything. So I guess I'm threatening the camp. Your threat is of no consequence. I'm willing to die for our cause, and I have no delusions of my importance. Whether I fall today or 10 seasons from now, our nation will live on. I already know that the disfavored are looking for the artifacts of Stalwart. I also know that they're searching blind. I'll take my knowledge to the grave if it keeps you out of Sentinel's stand. You can count on that. You've made your choice. I will return. Don't leave me to wonder, you simpering 3-ring upright. Come on. Like, I didn't want to attack the fort. I wasn't given an option to not. I mean, I guess I could have just not actually attempted to attack and just walked away. I guess. Ooh,
Found something.
an iron ingot. The disfavored camp is not that far away. Who goes there? Oh, it's you, Fatebinder. I wish you didn't have to witness that crude exchange before. Elia and her lot have caused me no lack of trouble. Normally I would welcome a servant of the court. Bash told me to keep an eye out for traitors stepping on our territory. Rust Canyon is ours, and we will shatter the so-called Unbroken for the glory of the General. If you intend to get in our way, the Ash's command, I'll have no choice but to end you. You have addiction to tree oxygen. Let's see. If any of you doubt your chances against me, leave now. I won't make this offer twice. Yes, first draws her blades and assumes a ready posture. Less talk, more spilling guts. I want to see this fool's intestines whipping in the breeze. One of the soldiers blanches in terror. He quickly glances at the others in his unit, his stance wavering with indecision. He clears his throat with a gentle cough, then bolts away from the conflict to come. Bye-bye. You better run faster than the Legion. We'll find you, traitor. Men, to arms. I'm actually going to, load. Because I didn't know that would lead to conflict immediately. You know, last time we threatened, we continued to hold a conversation afterwards.
Kairos' storm ripped all life to shreds, leaving behind only armor and
It's
weapons.
not consistent.
It is chilling to see these metal remains with my own eyes.
Also, we got a different line. We're alright, soldier. And then this dude runs up. Let's tell him to stop. He doesn't stop. Sadly not consistent now. Yeah. I don't believe we've been introduced. And then I will just not talk to them, because if I talk, they get angry. They will, gain dislike of me. If I say nothing,
Hi.
if I just kind of ignore them,
Oh, nothing says welcome like
And,
dead bodies rotting outside your front gate.
nothing will happen.
Interesting.
They won't gain any fear or wrath. How certain are you that we can't come to agreeable terms? Very certain. Maybe Tunon is willing to overlook your indiscretions, even your slight at Vindrian's well, but Ash is not so forgiving. He smiles, and notices for the first time how the wind-blown grit from the Edict of Storms has darkened his teeth. I'm not a diplomat or hunter, so I can't do these two options. So instead, I can gain major loyalty from Verse, or average favor from Tunon, and loyalty from Lantry. Are you here just to make trouble for everyone? Because that's what you're doing. The Unbroken invited mayhem and war when they didn't surrender to Kairos. You were trouble ever since you failed Ash and Vindrian's well. Don't take the faults of others and somehow make them mine. Upon my authority as a Fatebinder, hereby claim Rust Canyon's name of Tunon. Submit or die. He stares at you for a moment, waiting to tell if you're done, then clears his throat to rattle the dust free. Now, I don't fancy myself a legal clerk, but that still sounds like beast shit. You were standing for the adjudicator. I'm sure you could find some dumb precedent that supports a move like that. Better that we feed your bones to the storm before you get a chance. Okay.
Come at me, great meat. Bleed out, you little shit.
Light up the
This is
grave.
embarrassing.
Arcane missile. Do a little
Sorry, I can't.
slash do once you actually stand up
I'm
eventually.
enjoying this a bit too much.
El Kabong.
Damn thing couldn't pierce the cloth.
There we go.
More harm than this useless weapon.
Count on it.
Neither respecting my threats or my bureaucracy, they do need input. It's true, they do.
Wait, I did that?
Respect my authority. Free from within the cage, a beaten and weary figure whispers to you, "Are we free to go? You've been released. Return to your comrades." At last. I thought for sure we'd be shipped off to the Candle Mountains. Thank you, stranger. Were it not for you, I shudder to think what they would have done to us. Okay, I have freed some of your men. Are you going to be more favorable to me now? If you believe you can win, here look for artifacts, camp will fall today. Made your choice, I will return. I'm going to drop a save here. And then, death from above? No, I'm not allowed to do that at this moment. Trying to draw a selection.
Right.
Alright, fine, we're raising the camp.
Heads up.
She runs away.
We have company here. Oh, that one fucking hurt. Oh, if I had an iron ring for every dumbass
taken off.
The spell was interrupted. Terror's embrace. We're all healing. The enemies are dying.
This weapon is entirely worthless.
Get back! Got you now.
Okay, well, I suppose we're going over here. Since we drew the guards away from over here. And this should give us backdoor access.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
Oh, a different gate. But yes, it is backdoor access. Which is the best kind of access.
Spotted
Yeah.
something.
What do you find? Oh,
Hear that? Cries for help from that pit over there. Prisoners, I'd guess. Sorry, I can't.
you there! The unbroken dogs left us here to bleed and rot. Help us, please! We have information. Valuable information, and only to the disfavored. Give us our freedom and we'll let you all know. None of you look all that heavy. Give me your hand. I thought we'd never see the outside of this pit. Here, take this key. We acquired it from a scavenger, and there's some stash north of here. When we tortured him, he said something about a pile of rocks near a banner. Healthiest of the prisoners help the weaker men to their feet, and the group begins its march back to camp. Ah, they didn't help me fight? Shame. Alright, going in the back door.
Come at me, grave meat.
Well, wrong weapon for the job. I need to try something else. Take that!
Back door, that's right. Back door.
This weapon is entirely worthless.
You know where this shake goes? That's right, the back door. Where does the lightning bolt go? That's right, the back door.
I got it.
It's all the square hole.
Can't do that.
Lightning bolt through the wall? The back door.
I'm not here to make friends.
Oh, they lifted the gate. Ooh, iron great axe.
Can you reach that winch over there, or should I take aim? Sorry, I can't.
Backdoor axe is nice, except it's can't more akin to wearing a free use sign. You got a point.
Await my signal!
You too, fall back here.
Whatever you... Yeah.
Ah, no, go back here. Too bad I can't just swap magically with my party members. What I can do is Storm Wheel. First, you back up.
This weapon is entirely
I need to try and attack.
Yeah, let's go with a bit of healing there.
This isn't working.
Is that ink? No, wait. It's blood. I'll take care of it. You're not done yet. Not if I have any say in the matter.
Ready?
I'm not try your encounter power again.
If I had kids, they'd be feeling that one.
Nothing to see.
Potion, please. You aren't doing too much, are you?
You got it.
Pay attention, kids. You might learn.
Now switch to your bow.
This weapon is entirely worthless.
Okay. Everyone's getting back up. Re-healing. This backdoor entrance wasn't too much of a back door because we still had to go to the front door. So a little bit disappointing.
Trouble is afoot.
Oh yeah, Ab, you have a level up point? Let's go ahead and handle that level up. Yeah, let's go with the Surging Waters. Health is critical. She attempts to not die automatically.
I need to try a different weapon.
Anyone else want some of this?
More locals are sure to be about. Shall we dispatch them?
Come see Gravedigger. Live this Sunday.
Hey Elia, we're back. Motherless swine fucker. When I'm done with you, the flies won't have a spot to land on your wretched hide. Isn't she the best? I wish we could keep her, but she doesn't seem the type to be taken alive. Give me the artifact and I will spare you. I've heard it all before. This is only going to end one way. But that doesn't mean I'll make it easy for you. The gate slams shut, cutting you off from the unbroken captain. So she keeps running away.
More talent.
Coward.
Nipples on men. Useless.
I need to try a different weapon. Wait, I did that? Nice!
I think that's the last of the garrison. The captain's not among the bodies. She probably fled north.
You learn something every day.
Now the captain's a coward.
Heads up, we have company. Bleed out, you little shit. I got it.
Aha!
Right.
I leveled up. Ahaha! Model increases crit hit damage. Yeah, I was gonna focus here on the leadership tree. Call to battle requires another point. Let's do the resurgence, and then we'll get the swap next. Play Where's an Egg? I've never heard of that.
Interesting. Curious.
Da, 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 da. But there's plenty of eggs
this
amongst
is
the
interesting.
fair lists. So I mean that's where I would find them.
More bodies to pile in our wake. Feels like my blood is on fire.
This is embarrassing.
So the only thing you know about Strong Bad, dig into a game called Where's an Egg? I don't know anything about Strong Bad, I'm gonna be honest. I know nothing of Strong
Will do.
Bad. Unstoppable force. That's quite the it's quite the hammer. Nice. Ah, found her. We can take these ironclads. They're as dense and clueless as their Archon. They should fall like splintered masts. Reinforcements approaching. Fate Binder. I'll make a point of gutting you after I've taken care of this one. Never thought I'd live to see Kairos' forces leaping and snarling at each other. Do you fight this way in the north, or do you only lose control during important battles? Don't act like the south has its shit in order. We're slaughtering dynasties for strips of land long before Kairos showed up. My men are ready to die, and really too happy to take down as many of you as possible. I have a spear destined for your right eye whenever you feel like embracing the void. Are we having fun yet, Verse? Are you kidding? This is more fun than skinning beastmen in the winter. I should have joined your gang years ago. If you two are done edging each other into exhaustion, some of us are fighting a war here. So we're edging, huh?
This is fun.
Was the good pedal redeemed? Lay? Is bottom a good pedal? I don't know.
Lawhigh? Are you a good pedal? Oh, you redeemed it earlier? Did I miss it? Oh, I'm sorry. You're a good pedal for waiting, though. You must have redeemed it while I was deep in narration. I'm sorry for missing it. You're such a good patient pedal.
That's what it does. Even as I peek the mic a little bit. Don't worry about it. That's what happens.
I'm on it.
This weapon is entirely worthless. This weapon is entirely worthless.
Are you... Yeah, you're not actually
You got
doing
it.
anything? Can I expect to hear that voice again?
Harsh words would cause more harm than this useless weapon.
It's an easy feat for me. Barely an inconvenience.
Fall before me!
Like I ran over and pinged them for a single
This weapon
point.
is entirely worthless.
You got it. Thinking.
Consider it done.
I've had far worse.
And there's those two.
Pay attention, kids. You might learn something.
Oh, they're... okay. They're just busy slapping each other.
Hi. On it.
Oh, let's just even the playing field a bit. There we go. I'm still alive? Shit. That wasn't part of the plan. I'm not telling you anything. My secrets, they come with me to the grave. There's a lot of interesting scrap metal lying around Rust Canyon's my unbroken lady. If you're not feeling talkative, makeshift weapons can be more fun than the real thing. Just kill me and be done with it. We both know I won't bow to torture. You'd only be wasting your time. You have nothing left to lose, but I can still ensure that Stalwart finds peace under Kairos. Blood in Mark gains wrath. Oh. I guess not. I have the power to make Stalwart suffer. Is that what you want? No, it isn't. I believe that my countrymen are strong enough to keep our culture alive, even in chains. But that doesn't mean it won't go down without a fight. You're being stubborn for the sake of it. You're fucking right, I am. Do you think Stalwart is known for treaty and compromise? Or for digging in our heels and standing against impossible odds? I'll leave you to guess. I don't care about your convictions or your country. That makes me more dangerous than you. You always imagine you can stand up to this kind of pressure until it's right there in front of you. I believe you're ruthless enough to keep that promise. Damn you, I'll talk. And now that was some impressive work. My policy has always been to kill folks and hope their orders were written on their palm. You've got a knack for getting people talking. What do you want to know? Don't expect me to hold these wounds closed. You're on borrowed time. How do I get to the local spire? There's no direct road, but the breach in the old wall is said to lead to the ocean spire's floor. If you're dead set on making the journey, you'll come across worse foes than the Unbroken. Looking for an artifact, right? Aye, we've been searching for some time. A fool's errand, perhaps. I suppose I'll never know for sure. We were hunting for the remains of the regent Aspasan. Before the war, he carried the steadfast insignia, a cloak pin that was passed down the line of First Regents. What's the steadfast insignia? It's a cloak pin worn by the First Regent. It's supposed to help you stand tall against shitty odds. I don't know if it works, but I can't think of any odds shittier than the wind wall around Stand. How'd you learn about the Regent? We were looking for the body of the First Regent Aspasan, who was presumed dead during the war. Instead, we found records of his past movements. The final word on the matter is that he journeyed to a breach in the old walls and never returned. Not sure what he was doing in there, unless he wanted to unleash the Bane against the disfavored somehow. Dumb shit. The old wall breach is now unlocked. Yay! Thank you for the watering. How did a breach form in the old walls? We've been a little preoccupied with you northern fuckers to waste our time patrolling the length of the country, so you'll excuse me if I'm shady on the details. My best guess? Either the Edict of Storms blasted a hole in the ancient stone, or something blasted its way out. Does either option help you sleep better at night? I thought not. How do you know about Amelia? Who? I'm not in the business of breaking up families. That's Kairos' domain. Who leads the Unbroken? Matthias was our captain during the war, but in Stalwart to come, I would see him take on a higher authority. Looks like those brighter days aren't for the likes of me. Last I heard, he was rounding up men in Trapper's Junction, but that was some time ago. He was due to leave by now. Gain average wrath from Blood and Mark if I kill her mercifully. Why does Blood care so much what I tell Elia? Anything else you want to tell me? I have nothing more to say. You've bled me dry. Are you going to leave me be, or what? You better do me as a prisoner than a corpse. Unfortunately, I have no intention of going quietly or furthering your sick goals. So fuck off. Snatching up a shard of rusted iron, Elia lashes out, taking several desperate and capable swipes at you. She doesn't stop this frenzied, relentless assault until you drive a blade through her chest and pin her corpse to the ground of her homeland. Shame. Tireless Protector Shield, Barb Harburgian armor, and the Iron Walker armor, as well as a patrol map and some broken armor pieces.
Aye.
Ooh, unbroken shield, and some gloves. And Lantry leveled up. But we're gonna hold on to that point. Model improves control vigor skill. Nah. Does need one more point in preservation. You know what? Sure. Arcane shield. The old walls breach. Oh, and a stretch. Ooh. Thank you. That does lead me to notice the time. Time stuff will blow high. We're wrapping up, so thank you. Yeah, you like that like message? That is where we're wrapping up for today, however. Because, I've been going a little long. And I need to betch. So, thank you all for being around. I appreciate it, as always. Each and every one of you means a good amount to me. But now, we must go to our usual Wednesday target, so then I can go get some sleep. So that means we're gonna go hang out with our good old buddy Sawin, who's playing some Peak with a few friends. So if you aren't subbed, you can grab your first raid message. If you are subbed, we'll grab the second raid message with our nice little heart. And we'll be sure to, you know, drop that in and show our love and support to one of my wonderful, wonderful friends. And we'll be back tomorrow for some more tyranny. Okay?
In the meantime, you all better take care of yourselves. Don't make me have to do it for you. Some of you may want that, but please take care of yourself anyway. Okay, Petals? Now, bye-bye.